Hello and welcome to Your Average Critics, episode 16 this week, where we're going to be talking about recent films like Colossal, Pirates 5, King Arthur, Boss Baby, and then a recap on some TV shows that you guys have watched. But how has your week been? Let's start with that.
So it's the first week since we completed Tough Mudder.
Yes, so we weren't here last week because we were busy torturing ourselves, pretty much. Being electrocuted, covered in ice, smudge, shit.
That's painful, man.
All sorts, which was kind of your idea.
My fault, yeah. I was in agony until like 2 days ago. I was still like in pain.
Really?
I don't think my shoulders.
So 4 of us here did it. Me, Ollie, Obi, and Chris, and Joe wasn't there.
I just didn't want to do it, really.
Deep down, Obi, you're thankful, man.
That's the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
No,
Yeah,
come on,
You've done it now,
I
it's
can't.
over.
I could.
Honestly, it wasn't even that bad.
I could.
Joe, if you saw me from mile 7 to
Mate, from mile 3!
no, but if you saw me from mile 7
Yeah.
to the end, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I wanted to die.
Me and
but I
Obi,
saw-
we were broken.
Oh,
We
so-
were dejected.
Yeah, but I saw that
God.
group picture of you at the end, and
Because I was
really
happy to be fucking finished.
I don't think I was smiling in that.
Jesus Christ. The worst
And there was
thing
2
I've ever done.
times when
Oh,
cars
wow.
passed by, and I just was like, "Come on, just fucking hit me, please, just hit
Take
me."
tried
now.
to be a hitchhiker.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Well, what was your thoughts on it then, Ollie?
What, of Tough Mudder?
Yeah,
Loved it, mate. I'm getting ready for my next one.
yeah, you'll be doing that without me. I think. Chris, you didn't mind it?
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, I mean, the distance wasn't too bad.
12 miles across obstacles and shit.
I think the worst one for me was the mudslide. Couldn't get up it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's the mudslide?
It was
It's
just a
literally
hill.
a hill
Oh,
of
It's
mud,
just
and I
so
just couldn't
muddy.
get up it.
You can't get
Oh,
up.
you have to run up it.
Yeah, or,
Yeah.
or,
walk
or,
off.
or,
Do
whatever, man.
Ollie got up it and he stuck his foot down so I could grab onto his foot and he pulled me up.
Why do they call it a slide?
It's not.
Because
It's,
you can't like grab onto
'Cause you just
anything, you
slide
just
down,
slide
man.
down like Obi like
I tried
You're just
so
slipping
many
and
times.
sliding,
I just
mate.
kept, literally, I was stood still and I was just fucking gradually sliding down.
I was just like uprooting trees trying to pull myself up.
Because you can't, that one in particular, you can't quit because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go
Oh,
around
really?
it.
You
Yeah.
have to get up it.
And then
Oh,
what was the
shit.
other one? The electric shock one at the
That
end.
was
Oh my
horrible.
God, that
Electric
was-
shock?
Yeah, I
yeah.
got electrocuted twice.
I got electric
What
like
is this?
5 times.
What,
So
do they
they hang down. You just got to run through them.
Oh, what,
And
like a load
yeah.
of tasers or
Yeah.
something?
It
Pretty
feels
much.
like
tell me.
I don't know, when it hit me, that's not what I thought an electric shock would feel like.
Yeah.
It kind of hit, it's like kind of like someone punched me, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
I
And
thought it
and-
would be like a little static shock,
Yeah.
but no, it was like
It was
proper.
like proper, like,
I
and
must-
you hear it like
My face spazzed out.
Prior to this one was like a pyramid,
My tongue was
pyramid
out.
slide, and as a team we collectively did that appallingly
All right, okay.
because only 3 of us made it up.
Yeah.
Who didn't make it?
what's this?
Me,
The
Obi,
pyramid.
and Jack.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Me and
bother.
Jack helped everyone up, and then no one could reach us.
I felt so uncomfortable putting my full weight on your shoulder. I just didn't want to do it.
I was so
I
weak,
just didn't want to do
man. I was literally, I was like, there's.
We should have collectively got
You
into
did
a
it, mate.
pyramid shape. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Did it.
didn't.
We didn't think it through, but the thing that with the electrocution is we were all soaking wet, so obviously that conducts it even more.
Honestly,
Yeah.
first one hit me. I was like, "It's not too bad." Second one hit me. It took my shoulder back, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "I've got to go though. I've got to do it. Got to get
Were
through."
they like full tasers or?
No,
No,
just
they're like
electric
copper
wires.
wires.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So well, the
Oh,
first
wow.
one hit me, and I properly like convulsed, and then I just hit the floor. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not running through them."
I ran through,
And then I was like,
I
You
don't
were
know why
behind
I ran-
me.
Yeah,
I
I ran
like 4 or
through.
5 times.
Yeah, but like
That's jokes.
before we started, we saw people who had just finished, and they were like quite clean. So we
Yeah.
were like, "Oh yeah, it's won't be too bad." Literally, we got through to like the first mud bit, and we were all fucking caked in mud. We had to go through under some barbed wire. I like went under it. And then as soon as I came out, I was like, okay, I'm not that muddy, not too bad. And literally, I just stood there, I just slipped and fucking fell. And there was mud everywhere,
Oh, wow.
mud on my face.
Then we started slide tackling each other.
And I had, like, I told these two afterwards, when we showered and everything, there was mud. Like every nook and cranny you could think
Like,
of in my body.
your arse.
There was mud.
Crevice.
There was mud, so much in my bumhole. There was so much mud. Honestly,
Are you sure it was mud?
No, I'm pretty convinced it was horse shit, mate.
Some of it was manure, which was even worse.
Would it have been your manure?
Maybe, maybe after I got
In
electrocuted.
fact, I needed a boot from like mile 1 to mile 3. After mile 3, I just forgot about it.
Honestly, they didn't think it through when they were giving us protein bars either, because they were open and we had shitty hands, and they were just putting it on our hands.
Yeah, my hand was caked in mud.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take
And then they
that.
give you a dry t-shirt right at the end in your muddy hands,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, this isn't very good, is it? And I couldn't take my top off, I was just like ripped it off.
I lost my shirt. But when I said it, I think I left it there.
Oh no!
Which
Oh,
one?
so
The
upset.
mother one?
The finisher.
Yeah.
The finisher one?
No, as in the one that we all went in.
Oh. How do you,
Oh, the
you probably left it
boyfriend.
outside the
That's
fucking
alright,
hotel.
mate.
You left all else. He left all his clothes outside the fucking hotel.
Yeah.
You probably just left it there.
I threw my shoes away.
Loads of people threw their shoes away.
Yeah.
I've got 2 For Goodness Shakes t-shirts.
Yeah, I got the hoodie, yeah.
For what?
We stole the hoodie.
No, we didn't. We were given a hoodie because we were shivering.
We were given t-shirts and we took hoodies. I think he took about 17 t-shirts on his way out.
How did you get all of them, mate? What the hell? Where was this?
He was just like putting them in.
That guy
Trying to do it on the slide.
That guy definitely saw you take them as well.
If you saw me take them, then it's alright, isn't it? He didn't give a shit.
Thief.
Oh yeah, we do a film podcast, don't we? Alright, Joe, how's your last fortnight been? Have you been called out, haven't you?
Yeah, by Frederick Von Trout. Thank you for your shout out. Thank you for listening, by the way.
Yeah, cheers, Fred.
But to call me Deadwood and to cut me loose ASAP.
Right, so give the listeners some context. Why has he said this?
Why is he? I don't know
So
why
he's
he said
commented-
this. I haven't been
Because
here.
you're fucking dead weight, man.
That's the
He's
point.
never here.
Never around.
So
I have
so
stuff
this
to do.
this listener Frederick has commented on one of our episodes on SoundCloud and that's basically called for us to oust Joe because he's Deadwood.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it, Frederick. 1v1 me on Rust. No scopes only.
Yeah,
We'll see who the better man
Call
is.
of
Frederick,
Duty.
can you give us a review on iTunes, please?
Yeah.
See
5
if you're
stars.
already commenting. Like, you know.
5
But to be
stars.
fair- and to
Frederick,
be
can you
fair-
tell us if you're friends with anyone here? 'Cause
Yeah, I want to know who you're saying's on a VK sugar high, and why juggling is for pricks.
You're the only one who juggles, mate.
Huh?
You're the only one who juggles.
I can't juggle.
That should be a t-shirt. We should make some t-shirts. Juggling is
Yeah, man. I can't juggle.
Copyright your
But
average
yeah.
critics.
So thank you for listening, Frederick, and I look forward to our battle on Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, what's your Xbox or PS4 gamer tag?
I'm not gonna.
No, put that out.
Oh, well, if anyone else wants to insult Joe, then we're on Facebook, SoundCloud, and Instagram at Your Average
I mean,
Critics.
feel free, but there will be other call-outs. I will be battling people.
I'm
in
gonna make
different
a few
games.
like fake accounts and just start telling them straight.
And then Twitter, YC Podcast 17. Anyone else done anything interesting? Chris, you went to the League 2 playoff final.
Library card.
Hey, that's not my library.
Fun is hard when you got a library card.
What did I go to? Yeah, I was alright. I was
Oh, innit?
pretty drunk.
Who are you supporting?
Exeter. Shame
Exeter
they
against
lost.
Blackpool.
Then you lost. I like my team. Went to the Cup final.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you went to
Battered
the...
Chelsea. Oh, best game ever.
Yeah, Wenger in, yeah.
Do you want to tell us about your horror?
Oh, yeah. So after, basically, when Ollie wasn't here insulting him for going to the theatre, I went to the theatre the other day. But I saw a
Was it
horror...
your choice or did someone?
Yeah, it was
play?
my choice. Because
so
it was
strange.
it was a horror play called Horror at the Peacock Theatre in Holborn, and it was meh.
It was scary for average people.
No, it wasn't.
You
No
were
one, no one in the audience like gasped.
But then you got to gauge the audience really. Or were they all people who really like horror things like you weirdo?
I don't know. I
Because if
couldn't
they
tell.
are, then they're probably ready
But-
for.
But this play was like an hour and a half long, had no interval, had no words. It was all
No words.
Yeah, it was all like just
Music.
diegetic noise and stuff.
Mm.
And yeah, like every time. So it was. I'm trying to think of what the plot was because it turns out that so there's 3 people, two men and a woman,
Quite clearly
turn up
not.
at this house, and almost straight away all this weird shit starts to happen, like crying noises and
All right.
things moving
Cabin in the
about,
Woods.
Yeah.
and then one of the guys. Oh yeah, then there's this like kind of Victorian-looking woman who appears, but every time she appears, the light focuses on her, and this just screaming happens. So it's really obvious that she's like there. I feel like it would have been scarier if you're not quite sure if she's there or not.
Yeah.
And then this guy's hand gets possessed, and he's kind of
Oh,
moving it about, and then they chop it off, and then the hand moves about the stage, and it was just kind of
Shit.
really. Some of the effects were quite good,
Mm.
but
As good as they could be for theatre.
it was not scary, and it was
No.
actually quite kind of theatrical and choreographed. So there was a lot of like dancing and stuff, and I just
Oh, really?
was not what I was expecting in the
Mm.
slightest. So I've been burned by that. I think.
Shame.
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 Oh, talking of shame, watched Game of Thrones episode 10 of series 6.
You seen the new trailer?
Yeah, I was going to say the
Yeah,
trailers.
let's talk about the trailer. Have we all seen it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, you know.
Well,
There's not a lot
Is
in
it,
to
is
be
it a
honest.
long one?
Yeah, no, it's like
It's
a
like
minute.
40 or something.
So it's like
It literally divulges like barely anything.
Are they actually in clips or is it like a still?
no,
it's
clips.
clips. So like Daenerys turns up at Dragonstone, and what
I'll watch
else?
it right now.
So yeah, pretty action packed trailer. Yeah, battles
Pretty
left,
action-packed,
right, and
yeah.
centre.
Yeah,
Enemies
man.
to the north, east, south, and west.
Dragons.
Game on.
Dragons.
See the dragons do.
Should be good,
do
man.
some damage.
I can't believe there's only gonna be 7 episodes.
I know.
What, wasn't you saying last week that because obviously they're going to have? I heard they announced there was going to be 5 TV spin-off series. rather
Yeah,
than
they're
4.
developing.
Yeah, but apparently they're not going to be on Robert's
Robert's Rebellion
Rebellion.
or the
Oh, you told me, didn't you?
Robert's Rebellion or the Duncan and Egg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be on.
Oh
it's not gonna
no.
be on that
I don't know what that is, but
Yeah,
So
what is
Duncan Egg's like a series of novellas that George R.R. Martin has released about
oh yeah, you were saying
Aegon
about it. Yeah.
Targaryen and Sir
Oh, right.
Duncan the Tall. It's just like a prequel.
Oh, right.
See, now it makes me think, what are the prequels going to be? Like, what are these other series going to be? I know there's plenty there could
yeah,
be,
could
but
but it's a shame like Robert's Rebellion. I guess maybe it's too
soon.
too
Before.
soon. But then they've got that bloke who plays Ned in the flashbacks, right? He would be perfect for that role.
I should know more about the Mad King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really liked King Robert's character.
Did
Like
you?
him and Ned were really, decent. Like,
Yeah.
They had
they-
good charisma.
I just
Good
don't.
charisma.
I feel like it's like we were saying last week with all the superhero movies. It's just like
saturated.
they're going to saturate it so fast with 5 extra series. Like,
Well, I'm assuming they're not going to do one after the other. Or they're
Oh,
not going to do
they-
like. There's going to be like they'll do like one and then.
I think
one
they're,
each
they're
year.
developing them, so
yeah,
they'll just think whichever's
is,
best
but
idea.
is a series so good? Would you could not continue it?
Maybe they'll give one to Hulu, one to Netflix, one to HBO.
I think they should just do like anthology series, just like one.
Yeah.
One period each for each.
It would be good.
Series.
Would be good, but we'll
maybe,
see.
maybe they'll do 5 pilots, and then whichever one's best gets picked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rewatched the last episode that's been out again.
So good. I need to watch. I need to rewatch.
It is so
That's
sick.
so-
Was
I
that the
think-
Hodor one?
No. It's the one where
Bastards, isn't
Oh,
it?
about the
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies. So
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
the one like
Sansa.
the first 15
No,
minutes.
When she's no, she's not. Sorry,
The first 15 minutes was so tense
Yeah.
because it's
The music.
yeah,
The music
it's
is
just
so good.
and it was intense. Like so, Cersei's scheming, and then there's like what's her name, Marjorie and Loras, and then the High Sparrow. They're all like doing his trial,
Yeah.
and then Tommen's there, like still in the Red Keep, and then and then you see who's the one, Lancel, the one who's the Sparrow now.
Yeah.
And then he sees the little birds running away, goes underneath, sees all the dragon fire,
Yeah.
and it was just the most tense 15 minutes. And I knew what happened.
Mm.
And but yeah, like you're saying, the music cues you, and
Do you know what I appreciate so much about Game of Thrones? So in the last season, do you remember when there was like kind of this like ruse that Marjorie was like brainwashed or whatever?
Yeah.
And then she kind of gave like a little inkling that she wasn't.
Yeah.
And you think that like, oh yeah, they're gonna carry that through, so she's gonna concoct some sort of plan, but she just she just dies. Like they don't get any there's no payoff for that at all. And I think Game of Thrones always keeps you on your toes and that sort of.
But even like the music, there's like little motifs of the like even slower, and then it just builds. And I knew what happened, but then as soon as the candle's slowly burning and Lance was crawling towards it, and then he's trying to blow it out, and then everyone just gets fucking obliterated. It was so sick. And then Tommen jumps out the window.
And becomes an assassin.
Doesn't really jump, does it? He just
From
walks.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Tomlin, he becomes an assassin.
No, it's like the real life
doesn't
Assassin's
live-
Creed where he misses the bale of hay, or he just goes straight through it.
But yeah, it was. And then Cersei doesn't even care Tommen's dead now. She's like,
No, she does care, but I think she's just
Yeah.
she's at the point where she's like kind of like.
And she's probably worried that prophecy's
Editor.
going to come alive as well, because everything else has of that prophecy so far.
What's the prophecy?
all the children
That,
died.
and then someone close would kill her or something.
yeah. I can't remember the exact. Yeah, but she thinks it's her brother. It says it translates as little brother, doesn't
Yeah,
it? So
yeah,
she
yeah.
thinks it's going to be Tyrion, but actually Jamie was born after her
Yeah.
because they're twins.
Ah, you're right.
So it could be him.
Clever twist.
Oh yeah, that's why she's always hated Tyrion.
Yeah. Something about gold their crowns and gold their shrouds.
But in
Something
reality, Tyrion's probably going to be one of a brother and sister to Jon Snow and Daenerys.
Oh, because yeah, and then again, like I'd seen it already, but Jon Snow turns out to be a Targaryen, mate. I was like, oh,
That episode.
oh.
Mate, George R.R. Martin has people on their toes, mate. He's not doing the norm, innit? He's just doing everything different,
Yeah, he's also making us wait far too long for the next book.
which he'll probably never make and probably die before that book's out.
Probably. Oh well. Anyway, in terms of saturating, we saw the Black Lightning TV show trailer, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
A few of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which actually looked really good.
I thought it was alright. It's
that's
getting picked up
alright.
series as well. Originally, it was only for a pilot, but they've
They just commissioned it straight off the bat.
series. They did the same with Krypton as well.
So what is Black Lightning then?
Yeah, what is it? I've never heard of this thing.
As far as I'm aware, well,
Isn't it your
you know.
basketball name?
Back in the day, when I was dunking on people.
As far as I'm aware, it's based on Someone told me that it's Black Lightning, the superhero, but it's him when he's older. So he's like retired and he's coming out of retirement almost.
Yeah.
That's why his suit looks so retro. That's what I really didn't like about it, his suit.
Okay.
But then I suppose that makes sense if he's coming out of retirement and using his old suit.
Yeah, because it was something about like something happens at his children's school,
Yeah.
and then he has to come back out of retirement to help them. But I think his kids have powers as well.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, so it looked quite interesting actually.
Yeah, I didn't really appreciate from the trailer, but yeah,
And this ties into the Arrowverse.
apparently.
If you just because you mentioned Arrowverse, so if you watch the trailer closely, there's a point where I think he's like fixing his suit or whatever, and you can tell it's really bad. The same set that he's in there is the same one that the Flash uses in that's his like CSI office.
Oh really?
So yeah, they'll use like the exact same sets.
Saving money.
Okay. Well, why don't you update us? Because didn't all the series finish now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come on, give us a little.
What, completely? Or
No,
No, just the season.
End of series.
Well,
so it's like series 5 of
they're-
Arrow, series 3 of Supergirl.
Flash and
season 2 of
Supergirl.
season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And there's rumours that this is the penultimate series to Arrow. Rumoured, have it.
That would make sense.
But I hope not.
Okay, so give
It's
us.
picking itself up again, isn't it? So.
Joe, have you up to date?
I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit.
Not really.
What one should we talk about first, mate? That's the question.
Should
Do
we
you
talk
wanna
about Flash first?
Yeah.
Let's get the most confusing one out.
Oh Jesus! Don't even.
So
mate.
okay, so from what I understood from what you said last time,
You
Flash.
understood it, Jesus.
Well, what I tried to
I
understand.
understand.
Flash's enemy is
Himself.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's killing his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saboteur.
yeah. Saboteur. Yeah.
Cool.
He's got
Right. So
That's it.
like the penultimate episode is Savitar killing Iris, who's Barry's girlfriend,
Good song, by the way.
and then the start of the last episode, you find out that
Iris is still alive in another universe.
No.
Don't tell me.
She is
Don't.
She's
still
still
alive.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But
Harrison Wells, from Earth 3.
no,
No, because he's
it's like Earth 19
Earth 19, whatever. He swaps places with her with a like facial
face modifier.
modifier thing.
Oh,
yeah.
He gets
I
killed.
forgot.
a girl is no one.
There was
Rare
I need to talk
faces.
to you about this afterwards because there's a massive hole in that theory.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Is she a faceless man?
Huh?
Is she a faceless
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, well, she's at the moment.
She has many faces.
A girl is no one.
Basically, she's still alive. The evil Flash /
Bullshit.
Saboteur wants to make a quantum splicer so he can be in every single moment of time in reality.
Yeah.
And he believes that the good guy was going to actually build it for him, and the good guy did not build it for him. He gets shot with the quantum splicer. It doesn't do anything. Then all the Flashes, Jay Garrick, Wally West, Flash. Actually, not all the Flashes because they didn't bring Impulse, did they?
Are they all played by the same bloke?
No,
No.
so Wally West is played by, I don't know.
Keenan Lonsdale.
Yeah. Then Jay Garrick's an older guy from a different
John
Earth.
Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash in the original series
Yeah.
in 1990.
See, this guy
Oh,
knows.
okay.
This guy knows.
I'm learning from Glenn, man. I'm
Yeah,
taking-
you
I'm
wrecked
taking
me
notes.
for knowing.
I'm taking notes. I'm learning from Glenn.
And then basically you had the Cisco who plays Vibe and this other woman who plays another version of Vibe in a different universe, and they come and help as well. We don't know where she came from. She just appeared, and then they beat. Basically, Flash knocks Savitar out his suit, goes into Savitar's suit, vibrates it and breaks it, and then Killer Frost, who was on Savitar's side, decides to help them and stop Savitar. So
No, it's Barry like knocks him to the floor because he didn't kill Iris, that means that
Savitar's just
is gonna cease to exist.
which again doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But we'll run with it.
Right,
It's
okay.
These guys have got way too many personal problems.
So,
They can control time.
So like he's like leaving Salazar to like disintegrate sort of thing. So he's like walking back to his friend, like fat smile on his face, while Salazar gets up and is about to attack him, and then Iris shoots him in the back.
Oh yeah, Irish
And
shoots
kills him before he actually disintegrates.
But
him,
isn't
actually does.
that Flash in the future? So that means he won't exist in the future.
No.
It's a time.
Okay, I'm sorry, I asked. I'm sorry, I asked.
Don't
question it.
It's a
Don't
time.
question
It's a
it.
time remnants. Basically, when he runs fast enough and he goes into the Speed Force to run into a different time, he makes time remnants of himself,
Right.
which is basically him again. Which doesn't make sense again, but okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, but it's time travel, so whatever.
So that's Flash.
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
make
I
sense.
forgot about the very ending of it as well, which is fucking annoying. Go on, Nobes, you carry on, mate.
So Salazar's dead, everyone's happy for a moment, and then suddenly this massive storm happens and loads of lightning is shooting down. And the Speed Force, inverted commas, comes out and says, Barry, you need to come into the Speed Force because a speedster always needs to be in it or something like that. And so he has to leave everybody and go into the Speed Force and be there for a while, I'm assuming. But I'm assuming he'll be back in season 4, like after like one episode probably.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a C ending. But I remember Chris, you said the thing about the lightning coming down might turn people into speedsters.
Yeah, so in some of the comics, it was it's a different storyline because in the comics he's not with Iris anymore, but in one of the comics, there's loads of like storm lightnings, like how the Flash got his powers, and then loads of other people get the powers as well, and then he tries to like recruit them and train them and make them better, and then there's this one speedster who's trying to kill them all to become Godspeed. So I was thinking maybe that could be the next storyline, but I'm not sure how that'll go down. So
too many speedsters, man.
Does this Arrowverse relate to Gotham?
no,
No.
because Gotham is
Fox.
when Batman is younger anyway.
Yeah.
So when he's like 12 or something.
I have been watching that as well.
It's good, isn't
I
it?
really like that show.
I'm on season 3, episode 10, I think.
Yeah, I'm just about to start season 3.
Yeah.
Right. Arrow, quickly.
Yeah, go on, mate. You take it away.
So Arrow, I think has been,
sick
Arrow's been really like so much better than all the other superhero shows. I think this is like the best season since like season 2, even season 1 maybe. But so basically, there's this guy called Adrian Chase who's persona or alias even is Prometheus, and he's just been fucking with Arrow's head basically. So like he's been like 5 steps ahead of Arrow like for the pretty much the whole series.
He was literally for half the series his right hand man.
Yeah,
In just like the mayor.
because Arrow's the mayor.
Yeah.
And he was then the district attorney.
Yeah.
But obviously he didn't know until like episode maybe 15, 16. He found out that it's Adrian Chase and he's a serial killer because he's been killing all these people.
He even killed his own wife.
Yeah, he killed his own wife, yeah. She found out who he was.
Decent.
Yeah. So it's all he basically kidnaps all of Arrow's team, and it's all culminates in them going to the island which the series started on, called
Right.
Lian Yu, which Arrow was supposedly stranded there for 5 years, but in reality it's only like 2 years.
Yeah, and Argus have a prison base there as well.
Yeah, so he recruits people to help him get his team back. One of the people he recruits is Deathstroke, who was the villain of season 2, and Deathstroke killed Arrow's mum. But because he was like he had some
Cameo.
he had some sort of thing in his system that made him like get really strong and go a bit like mental. But it wore off, so he's like, help me find my son, and
I'll help you find your
son.
Yeah.
So so they go through all this nonsense trying to find.
Oh, he also gets out Captain Boomerang as well.
Oh yeah. I didn't know. Do you know what? I didn't even know that was him.
No, neither did I. I had to look it up.
From Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
same guy. It's their own one. Yeah.
I also didn't know it was him. Anyway, they go and they go around the island. They manage to break people out, and Prometheus, who's the villain, wants Arrow to kill him basically. So he's kind of like not fighting back. So he's kind of like saying kill me, because he's connected to a dead man switch or whatever. So like if he dies, the whole island is like filled with explosives. So the whole island blows up and everyone dies. So he gets Arrow's son, goes into a boat. Arrow chases him onto the boat, and he gets his son in like a headlock, and he's like, so you can either kill me and everyone on the island dies, or you don't kill me and I'm going to kill your son. So Arrow, it was tense. It was tense. So Arrow shoots him.
And by the way, no one can get off the island because the plane's broken.
Yeah, the plane's broken. Okay. So Arrow shoots him in the knee, gets his son back. Adrian Chase gives him a load of spiel, and basically says like, the kid's going to have a tough life without Felicity and without his mum, and Prometheus kills himself. So the island goes up in smoke. So yeah.
I mean,
Damn.
That's how it
it
is.
is a really good ending, and I love the fact they got Deathstroke back in because he was actually such a sick character. Captain Boomerang was a bit lame. Like
You can tell he was only available for like a few days though, because like there were points where obviously you show his face, and then there were points where you just have a mask on, and you can tell it's just a voiceover.
Right.
So I think he's like busy shooting another show.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was gonna tell you, so my prediction is everyone's gonna survive apart from William, who's Arrow's son. Apart from William's mum. William's mum's gonna die, and so Arrow's son's gonna have to come and live with him, and he's gonna train him. He's gonna become Connor Hawk, which is from the comics.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah,
I think more than one person's gonna die.
do you reckon?
Yeah.
I can feel it might die actually.
I reckon Captain Lance might die.
I hope not. I like him.
Yeah, well, we'll have a likeable character die at some point, I guess.
True,
So.
very true. But yeah, by far the best superhero show this season, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realise as well, you know the little girl, there's a little girl who, because basically Arrow recruited like 4
Evelyn.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
so he recruited 4 people,
Artemis.
so, yeah, this is it, her name's Artemis, and in the Young Justice comics, she is a good guy, she's had a bit of a dodgy background, but Arrow's taken her in and he's recruited her and trained her, and then she becomes the love interest of Wally West.
Mm.
So I would guess they're not going with that storyline because she's an absolute bitch. So
I hope she
she literally
dies.
double crosses Arrow every
an arsehole.
chance she gets, and she has no legitimate reason to do so.
Yeah,
Why does he let her get away with it?
Because he wants to. He
trying
wants.
to be good.
He wants her to be better than him.
Yeah.
Some superheroes are so weak.
I know.
man.
Legend of Tomorrow was pretty decent as well.
It was. They broke
Yeah.
time, which is pretty hilarious.
They broke
They
time.
broke-
Yeah,
time.
for the first time they
Yeah.
broke time.
Because you're not supposed to
See yourself.
your future or past self or something like that.
I thought you said they've done that already before.
No,
But this is in Flash. They've done that. But in
Okay.
Legends,
Well, Legends they
is
see
the-
themselves,
the
but
rules
they never
seem to- interact.
interact. And this
Okay.
time,
The rules seem to be different on the 2 shows.
Even though they're in the
They're in
same.
the same universe.
Right,
yeah.
okay,
It's
cool,
silly.
whatever, yeah.
But yeah, so they meet themselves. They battle themselves and with themselves.
Reverse Flash gets about 100,000 other ones of him to battle
Yeah.
them as well.
What, he's in Arrow Tomorrow thing?
What Legends
He's
of
in
Tomorrow? Yeah,
Legends.
yeah.
And so they defeat him, and then they're basically like, okay, we're done. We're gonna go on holiday for a bit, so they're gonna go to Aruba or something like that. And then they get stuck in like a time storm, and they get
Bermuda Triangle.
what?
no, but that'd be sick.
Yeah, they get stuck in a time storm, and then
That's
they
sick.
crash land in like Los Angeles 2017. But it's like fucked. So like
It's got
Big Ben's there,
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs are there. Yeah, it's all like just fucked basically. So they've broken time. So I think it's gonna make for some interesting
And
That is
stories.
wicked.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to that.
See,
place.
I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, this is gonna be so naff when
I
it
think it's
starts
fun. I think
again.
it'll be funny.
But the only thing I didn't like about it is that Rip Hunter doesn't seem to. He doesn't look like he's gonna be in it,
Yeah.
and I really liked his character. But yeah, as
Mm.
well, good.
And finally, Supergirl.
So yeah, Supergirl. The last 3 episodes were actually quite good.
Apparently had quite a good ending, didn't it?
It was okay. So
Oh.
basically, the last episode, Supergirl has to fight her boyfriend's mum, pretty much. Her boyfriend's an alien as well. He's from a planet called Daxam. And his mum uses silver kryptonite to get Superman under mind control. And Superman and Supergirl fight because Superman thinks that Supergirl is Zod. So they're just fighting for like the first 10 minutes of the episode. And then she beats him. So...
What?
Yeah, no,
Well,
no.
she
apparently in the comics, like it's actually a fact that Kryptonian women are stronger than Kryptonian men. So she becomes the champion of Earth. So then she challenges the supervillain woman to like a battle to the death sort of thing. So then they fight. She's fighting this woman. She's fucking her up basically, and she finds out that this woman's got kryptonite in her skin. So she's like. She's basically saying, like, fuck me up, because the more you fuck me up, the more you're going to get fucked, because you're obviously kryptonite's your kryptonite. So...
Kryptonite's your
Kryptonite's your
kryptonite.
kryptonite.
That's another t-shirt
Yeah,
there.
if you know, you know. So, yeah. She then is like, basically, like, I can't beat you. So she gets Lena Luthor, who's Lex Luthor's sister.
Right.
Lena Luthor? Yeah, Lena Luthor. She makes this machine that basically puts lead into the atmosphere, and this supervillain and her boyfriend, they're people on the planet can't handle lead, like it'll kill them basically.
Okay.
Like most people really, but so yeah, they put lead into the atmosphere, so the Superwoman woman dies, and all the people who invaded the planet from the planet Daxam, they all have to leave, because obviously otherwise they'll die, and she has to like obviously say goodbye to her boyfriend because otherwise if he stays on the planet he'll die. So he goes off. He gets sucked into some vortex which people think might be the Phantom Zone. I'm not really sure what that is, but he gets sucked into that on his way up into space.
You don't know what the Phantom Zone is?
No.
Oh.
And
Chris, you can tell us in a minute.
Yeah.
and then they do like a flashback to like 35 years ago, where a pod, as Krypton is being destroyed, so like Superman's already been sent off to Earth, Supergirl's been sent off to Earth, and then so there's like another one. Who I think this is going to be whoever the villain is going to be for next season, and it's a baby crying, and there's like two women next to him. One of the women cuts herself and like gives the baby to like lick on, and the baby stops crying. So whoever it is, they're addicted to blood.
Bit of a fucking freak.
Yeah, some people think it might be
It's the guy from Batman vs Superman, isn't it? It's,
some people think it might be Doomsday.
What, Doomsday?
Some people think it might be Doomsday.
Yeah.
It might be Doomsday, but in like human form. So yeah, and then they showed that pod.
Doomsday is a
going to-
creation of Kryptonite.
I know what.
They show that pod going to Earth, and then it ends. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't they just remove the lead from the atmosphere?
what do you mean?
Well, if they put lead into the atmosphere, can they not remove it and then her
It's
boyfriend?
there, isn't it? I imagine it's a lot harder to remove it than it is to put it in there. So.
Mate,
I
We
don't
can, all,
know.
we can all poke holes in these series, I'm sure.
Yeah, true. Well, what's the Phantom Zone?
That's
then,
where
Chris?
all the big bad guys get sent and it's their prison. They can't get out.
Is that the? As in, we'll see
Lego
Lego Batman.
Batman,
Yeah.
Oh, it's that
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Mm,
Obviously,
okay.
obviously not with all them villains, but
Sorry.
it's more or less that kind of gist. And I don't believe Superman has his powers in it either.
None of
Everything
them
needs
do,
to be
do they?
explained by Lego.
See,
Mhm.
and the thing is, what you're saying about Superman and Supergirl, it's never. I know you're right. With the females are meant to be a lot stronger on Kryptonite, or they are stronger. But there's nowhere in the comics where it justifies Superman as stronger than Supergirl. It's just that he's a predominant character, and that's why he's so godlike. But there's like so many different versions of Superman. Like, the Superman that stayed in the sun for 1,000 years, and he's just like unstoppable. Like you can't hurt him at all. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Superman has this move where he can just like charge loads of solar energy and just like make a massive explosion.
Yeah.
But then he becomes human for 24 hours.
Okay.
That seems really like a really stupid move to do. Superman,
because he regenerates his health by the sun, right?
yeah.
So why is he not very tanned? He should be
Yeah.
extremely.
That's the thing, isn't it?
It's because he uses factor 50, isn't it?
Or maybe it's because he has regenerative powers, and so obviously the sun tanning your skin is actually destroying cells, but his cells are regenerating.
How does his suit not burn?
Oh my gosh, must be super.
Big Bang Theory
Dry
all
cooling.
over here.
It's
Yeah.
Kryptonian material, isn't it?
Talking of Big Bang Theory though.
Okay.
Actually, mate, I'm gonna just go off that.
Right. So
They-
Sheldon dies, but he's alive in Planet 2050.
Oh, do you know what? Yeah.
They just had the end to season 10.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Was it good?
It was alright. Sheldon proposed to Amy.
Spoilers!
Are you gonna watch it?
Oh, is that when she opens? She's a schoolgirl or something like that.
No.
Who's Amy?
Amy's Sheldon's girlfriend, long-time girlfriend.
But yeah, because there's an
She's the
episode.
one who does that though. She's
Yeah.
in the schoolgirl outfit.
Because
That's
didn't
not
we see that
episode.
when we were in the hotel?
Yeah.
We saw that, and he proposes to her, right? Because some other woman's hitting on him. Is that right? And then he's getting close to another woman, and then he freaks out and runs back and proposes to.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is. Sorry. Yeah.
That
That is it.
That's literally the only thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Of Big Bang
No,
Theory.
same episode. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Sorry, Joey. Just ruined it for you.
Are you actually watching it, Joe? Oh, there you go.
To be fair, I feel like Big Bang Theory is one of those shows where it has to come to an end
Yeah.
fairly soon, because there's only so much more it can do. I think,
Mm.
like there could be some breakups, but inevitably, the people watching the shows are going to
Probably
want them to
happy
get back together. Yeah, happy ending.
Didn't we discuss last time that there was supposed to be a prequel now?
There's
Like
a
they're
there's
doing
a
the
prequel
Sheldon-
coming out, Sheldon, and the
Yeah.
trailer came out
Really?
last week, and there was like an extended trailer as well.
Does it look any good?
It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like something that I would go and watch.
Probably watch one episode.
Yeah, it just seems like which he is, a very socially awkward person in society, and it's basically him going to like our equivalent of secondary school, isn't it? When he's only like 7 or whatever, and he's just outsmarting everyone, even the
Okay.
teachers.
Right.
And it's kind of like, alright, it's going to be funny at points, but how much can they actually do with
It'll get
this?
cancelled after one season.
Yeah.
Probably.
And like his dad's in it because you don't see his dad in it because his dad
That
Dad died, and his mum's in it, and his sisters and his brother.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it looks interesting.
Has Raj got a girlfriend yet?
No.
He had a.
I think once he,
I was going to say, didn't he have an intervention with his ex-girlfriends and they discussed what was wrong with him?
Do you know what? I don't know if this is a trend in like Hollywood sitcoms, but I watched something called Silicon Valley, which is like a comedy show about basically people in Silicon Valley in California, and they all work for like different app companies, and then they create their own, and it's really funny actually. It's got T.J. Miller, who's he's in Deadpool, and other comedy.
Other
films.
with glasses behind bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him. And but yeah, so there's it's the same premise. There's like 4 white guys and 1, Indian guy, and they've all got like relationships, and this Indian guy's the only one who doesn't, and he's really unsuccessful in life. And I don't know if that's just like the minority, he's not going to
Hollywood
be left behind.
stereotype.
Yeah, but Silicon Valley's quite good. It's just half an hour episodes. So.
Sounds like a show. I was going to start watching Beta, I think it was called.
But yeah, I'd recommend it. It's quite funny.
Cool.
I've also started watching series 3 of Kimmy Schmidt, which is
one?
Netflix show.
Yeah, good.
Series 3 is not as good, but
It's
series
so
1 and 2.
stupid that
It's
funny.
so
It's so dumb.
The
Like,
premise is Kimmy Schmidt is a 30-something woman, but she was kidnapped when she was like early teenager,
like 15.
and she was held in a bunker for like 15 years in a cult. With 2 other women, and this guy, the Reverend Gary Wayne, Richard Wayne or something, that's his name, played by John Hamm. And then so she escapes the bunker, so she's in like 2016 is when it's, or 15 when it starts, and she still thinks it's like 99 or something.
Right.
And so she's learning about all these things like iPods, and just trying to, basically she's growing up, but she's like already a fully grown woman.
Right.
And it's just her trying to find like jobs and find love, and it's just quite funny. She lives with this really camp wannabe actor called Titus Andromedon.
He's hilarious.
Titus Andromeda.
He's
Yeah.
so funny.
And this crazy hippie called Lillian, and then she meets this really rich bitch called Jacqueline, and it's quite funny. Like, and then Titus is so kind of flamboyant, and he has this song in like the first
Pinot
series,
Noir.
Pinot Noir. It's so funny because the whole song is just him rhyming things to Pinot Noir. He's like, Pinot Noir, Cuban cigar. Pinot Noir, je ne sais quoi. But like, it's funny because it's so silly, because like Kimmy, like the word, she doesn't understand like a lot of like innuendos and so,
Right.
and she also comes out of all these like rap lyrics, and she's like, I can break it down, and she's like, pretending to be Tupac or whatever. It's just it's quite funny. But series 3 isn't as good so far. They've tried to already do 2 songs with Titus, and it's
really?
just not funny.
I haven't watched these 2 yet.
Series 2 is good. I'd watch, but yeah, it's again easy watching. But this episode, I think this series they're trying to be too, like, they're trying to basically double everything that was funny in the first few series. And it's just they had a good formula. They don't need to change anything, but I feel like they are. But yeah, again, so check out Silicon Valley and Kimmy Schmidt.
To be fair, I have seen that Kimmy Schmidt one on Netflix just when I'm scrolling through, and it doesn't look like my kind of thing.
But I didn't think it'd be my kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think it's not my kind of thing either, but
I'll give it a watch.
It's funny. It's funny. Like
give it a watch.
it's quite a funny concept.
It's just so dumb that it's funny.
Yeah.
Like you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, burn!
That's payback, bitch.
Payback
Well,
for what?
talking of shots fired.
slated me the other week in a podcast.
Good. That segue was kind of naughty again. Oh my god. No one catch the
No, I
segue.
didn't-
Yeah, shots fired, yeah.
Talking of
Oh,
shots fired.
Oh, fair play.
So yeah, I'm watching this show called Shots Fired. I talked about it maybe like 3 weeks ago. It's about there's a town in Charlotte, North Carolina, where a black policeman shoots a white kid, and they have to call in a prosecutor and an investigator to try and find out, like, basically, like, who was it, a racially motivated attack, or was it like just like something that happened, like, basically was the killing justified, basically. And a video gets leaked of the black policeman on the day that he's graduated from the police academy, and they say, like, it's like his dad, like, asking him, what have you got to say? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to shoot these crackers, basically, is what he says. And yeah, so the police, like, he's like trying to deal with basically like pretty much the whole town like hates him now, and even like the people in his police union, like the police union dropped him. He's been relegated to like doing desk duty. His commanding officer like pretty much hates him now, so he's like him and his family trying to deal with that. Which like I was thinking is like understandable, because imagine if you heard a white policeman saying, "I'm getting ready to kill these N-words." Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So obviously maybe it's not the same thing, but do you know what I mean? Like he would get dropped and he would be hated by a load of people.
Is it based on a film, like a previous film or anything? Because I feel like I've watched a film that's like exactly like that.
I don't think so.
Is it? How long's this series?
10 episodes. But
Maybe you're thinking of that Detroit that we.
But I haven't seen it.
No, but we watched the trailer for it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that.
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen, but yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so it's just basically like there's like loads of different people, and there's like loads of people who are connected. Like there's this guy, this white boy who's been killed, and then there was a black boy who got killed like 2 weeks earlier, but no one knows who killed him. And his mum was like saying like, why isn't anyone trying to help my son, like to the police department, stuff like that. So the investigators think that the police department is dirty, and then they think that one of the reverends in the town might have something to do with it, and everyone's just basically like well shady. And it turns out that the two murders are like kind of connected. The two kids who died but knew each other. So now they're just trying. I'm only on episode 4, but they're trying to find out like basically like what the fuck's going on. So yeah,
Which network can we check it out on?
It is on Fox or Sky.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh.
I'll watch that.
Ollie, let's hear from you. What TV have you been watching?
TV.
Where's the segue, mate?
No segue. So TV, I've so every morning when I'm getting ready to go to work, I'm always just putting on the TV, seeing whatever's on, and it's been The Middle, which is like
Let's
So
go.
I
That's a fist pump there.
so it's just following an American family in wherever, I don't know where they are actually.
Janitor from Scrubs.
Austin,
Yeah, Neil Flynn.
Yeah.
Austin, Indiana, I think.
And it's just following. It's like that high school drama, and I'm just loving it. I've only watched season 8. I just started from season 8, and I just watched because I don't like going back, because like the kids are younger, and it's really weird.
No, it's good when they're young.
They're really funny, all the kids, isn't it? Yeah.
But I'm like happy with like a feel good love story kind of high school drama. So that's me. Yeah.
It's like your typical like, not even like they're a family who's like they're not like middle class, they're like working class, and they like know they're working class, so like nothing in their house works. Their house is like falling to shit, and like basically their luck is just terrible, and like everyone else, like their neighbours across the street, they're like basically they're like a middle class family, and it's just funny like seeing the contrast between like the two of them. But yeah.
So I had some really negative views about it before I even started watching it, or even back when I like was just on the telly and it was like season 2 or whatever. I was like, this looks really shit, but you so easily just like fall into a routine and watch.
Aren't all the kids just dumb as fuck?
Yeah, but that's what makes it
No,
funny.
The oldest child, he's dumb, but he's like good at sports and stuff. The middle child, she's not dumb, but she's like the most unlucky person in the world. But she's like the most optimistic person you'll ever meet. So it's she's got quite an endearing character. And the smallest child, he's like the forgotten child basically. He's really smart, but he's just like socially inept pretty much. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's quite funny actually. Really
How's
good.
it compared to like Modern Family and those sorts of?
Oh, it's a whole different ballpark,
Quite
really.
different,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Modern Family is like funny, like I feel like they try and be funny. Well, they all obviously try and be funny. It's hard to explain. I don't know. It's rubbish. I can't explain this kind of difference.
I love watching a dysfunctional family. It's just like
It's a different
got a
kind of
camera in
dysfunctional family. That's
house.
the thing. It's like because it's like you're saying like they obviously Modern Family. They're all quite well off, aren't they? They're not exactly poor. And then you got this one where they are a working class family. So it's like the two contrasts between them. And then you got one which is just one family, while you got the other which is like 4 families. No, 3 families.
Okay.
Let's catch up on one thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they've all really grown up,
What's
haven't
that?
Yeah.
Modern Family.
they? Yeah.
Yeah. The girl, the younger girl, Sarah. I think Sarah Hyland's going out with the guy from.
She's the older girl.
Yeah, she's going out with the guy from that Netflix TV series with the ginger girl as the main character. What's her name?
Chad Hunters?
Yeah, that's the one. Going out with the guy with the 2 different colour eyes.
Don't know who that is, but fair enough.
Yeah.
This is why you need to learn actors' names, mate.
I remembered one. Come on. I didn't
You know
put
that
it
show on Netflix?
Yeah, mate.
But
Seen it.
yeah, but I described it and I pointed to someone who I thought.
To be fair, Kimmy Schmidt's main character is Ginger.
Could have been Kimmy Schmidt as well.
Yeah, but then I would have said Kimmy Schmidt because we just spoke about it. He got it. Did he not get it?
He did.
Yeah, because I know you're the only one who watches that shit show.
Oi,
He's fucking rubbish.
oi. It's like one of those shows where you start watching it, you just want to see how it ends.
Okay. Well, talking Netflix, Joe, you've watched a documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I watched the Paul Gascoigne documentary
I've seen
on
that.
Netflix. I thought it was really good, and just to like sort of see into his past and.
So he's an ex-footballer, right?
Yeah, he's an ex-footballer. Played for Newcastle, Tottenham, Lazio, Rangers, Middlesbrough, Everton.
Been around the block,
I
hasn't he?
think as well.
Yeah, something like that.
Real journeyman.
So, he's been around, but to sort of find out what he went through in his past to sort of bring him to the point where he was at, where he's an alcoholic and sort of in the depressed state, you kind of see that the stuff that he went through wasn't all his fault. Like the phone tapping stuff that happened to him, he was getting phone tapped for 14 years, was it? And he got really paranoid and he knew something was happening, but he sort of lost his family because of it. And
why was he getting phone tapped?
We're all getting phone tapped.
The media.
No.
The media was tapping his
CIA.
phones to listen in on his conversations.
Oh.
And he sort of like fell apart from his family and all his injury. It's a really interesting story about a footballer. If you like football, watch it.
Because he was like I don't know, trying to compare it in terms now. I don't know. Like, so you know, like David Beckham was like really like revered as a footballer when he played for England. He was that was basically Gaza in the 90s, and like because he was really really good basically, and he just kind of like fell from grace. Obviously, he had like drug problems,
all the problems.
Is he quite honest about it,
Yeah.
or is it like?
Well, he's very open about everything.
Okay.
Do you know what I think was the silliest thing? I think I said this to you the other day. So when Paul Gascoigne was at Middlesbrough, his when they would go to away games, the person who shared a room was Paul Merson, and they're both like druggy / alcoholics. I don't know why you would let the two of them share a room together because they were getting geared up before games. So this is what like I think as a manager you would think like surely like I need to keep these two apart because they were good mates and they both fucking drank and did drugs.
But no, it's a really interesting documentary and it sort of delves right deep into his personal life and what made him the man he is.
Did you know that he was gonna sign for Man United before he signed for Tottenham? But the reason he signed for Tottenham was because you guys promised to like buy his mum and dad a house, his dad a car,
and
his sister like a sofa bed.
And his sister a sofa.
Mate, in today's football that seems like nothing. If I'm honest.
And have you watched any other like football documentaries like Ronaldo? Or
you've seen the Crazy, isn't you? Or is it that?
No,
have you seen
Crazy
that?
Man?
I haven't seen the Crazy Game. I don't want to watch the Crazy Game now.
Yeah.
I think some of it's bullshit though. But
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Ronaldo one either.
Ronaldo one's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be just quite self-indulgent.
Well, because you kind of see him like he has a little bit of struggle in life because obviously his dad was an alcoholic and he died of alcohol poisoning, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like obviously he grew up in quite a poor part of town, and then he took the risk to go to somewhere before Sporting, or he went Sporting Lisbon.
He was from Madeira, which is an island,
which is a trek away. So
and
he had to leave his family to do that, and then. Yeah, and then you see how he helps his brother out because Ronaldo's obviously he's quite egotistical, but he's got his own museum, and his brother like manages the museum to like keep himself like occupied and stuff. Ronaldo's very family orientated, is what it seems, and you see the perspective of his mum and stuff like that. So yeah, it's only like an hour and a half, so it's not too long anyway.
I find a good thing to watch if you're interested in finding out more about football players is a thing called Football's Greatest. It was a Sky Sports sort of documentary series. They're, I think, either half an hour or an hour long, and they go over various footballers over the course of football, basically, and you find out like their backstory, kind of how they were seen by other footballers in their time. It's quite a good little series to watch for Football's Greatest.
Okay, we'll check
Find
that out
about a lot of old footballers.
Nice. Sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about films. So, I've seen a film called Colossal this last week, which
I mean, why?
Show
we
us.
don't know.
Give us what
I
is
will-
Colossal?
I will try and describe it to you, but it's pretty weird.
Who's it by?
So it's by a Spanish director called Nacho
Monreal.
Valdenaldo or something like that.
His actual name is Nacho.
Nacho.
Ignacio.
Ignacio.
Oh,
It's
Nachos.
it was gonna be a kind of European art film until Anne Hathaway kind of decided to get on board with it,
Right.
and it's got Jason Sudeikis in as well.
From We're the Millers.
Yeah, from We're the Millers, and Dan Stevens, who's the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and who's also in Downton Abbey and things like that.
Right.
So essentially, the film is about Anne Hathaway's character, who is an alcoholic.
Right.
Dan Stevens is her boyfriend. He kind of is fed up with her, like bumming around, and you know she always lies to him and stuff like that. And so he says, "I can't be with you in this state. You need to sort yourself out." So they basically break up, and she goes back home, and this is where she meets Jason Sudeikis. Long story short. So no. The other part of the story is in Seoul, in South Korea. Every so often, this huge monster turns up. I think they're called kajigas or something. So I don't know. There's a
Yeah, the special name for
Yeah.
monsters in Japanese.
Yeah.
I know what you're on.
Anyway, so this monster kind of like destroys parts of Seoul. Long story short, it turns out that when Anne Hathaway goes to a sand pit in her hometown, she turns into the monster in Seoul.
Oh.
So whatever she does in the sandpit, like if she waves her arms or whatever, the monster does the same. But obviously there's buildings and stuff around.
Right, okay. What the fuck? Okay.
Because it says only if Anne Hathaway goes in the sandpit. If there's anyone who goes
Well,
in the sandpit.
and also later on, spoilers, Jason Sudeikis, he can go in there as well.
So I'm assuming
And then he
anyone-
turns into a robot. So it's
What, he turns into a robot or a robot appears in
a robot appears in Seoul.
Okay.
So
Oh my god.
it's kind of like a twofold story. Of
How the fuck
she
did
gets
they find that causal link?
she gets involved kind of with Jason Sudeikis, but then he kind of turns into this really domineering kind of, they're not going out, but he's really controlling, and he gives her a job at the bar, but obviously they're kind of both function alcoholics. And then he kind of says like, oh, you need to work late, and it turns into a kind of domestic abuse relationship, and he gets quite physical with her. And then like
And
Dan,
they both go into the sandpit and have a fight. And
yeah,
then-
they do.
Oh, shit.
So anyway,
Monster Wars.
she
Yeah.
figures out that she's this monster.
How the hell did you figure that out?
So she has this kind of tick where she'll kind of scratch the top of her head and play with her hair in a certain way, and then she watches the news and this monster is doing the same actions. And so what she does is, because she normally does all this when she's passed out drunk. Well, she's drunk and then passes out and doesn't remember. And then she kind of thinks, maybe I am this monster. So she figures out that it's part of the sandbox as well. And then so she kind of does like a particular move. Like I'm waving my hand here, but and then she watches the news quickly, and then the robot's doing the same. The monster's doing the same thing. So she figures out that it's her, which is weird. Anyway, so she tries to be a nice monster. So she gets this Korean guy to translate, like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not here to hurt you. And then she kind of writes it in some way in Seoul. And so other people then start loving her. And then the Jason Sudeikis is just fucking ridiculous, man. And then he figures out that he can turn into a robot over there. And then because he wants her to kind of stay with him, he's like, if you don't stay with me, I'm going to destroy Seoul. And so he's like stomping, and then they fight, and it cuts between them fighting as humans in the sandpit and as them as kind of monsters, and it's just absolutely.
It sounds like
It's
a very mismatched film.
What
Sounds
possessed
so
you?
shit.
What possessed you to pick up this film and think, yeah, you know what?
well.
I'm gonna watch this film.
So, I had a free ticket to view. Other cinemas are available, and I thought, I can see King Arthur and Pirates in Odeon, but they're not showing Colossal. So I thought I'll watch
Oh,
a
it's
film.
a new film. I thought it was like one you got on DVD
No,
or
no,
something.
it's only come out like a couple of weeks ago. But I just thought I'd see something that I probably wouldn't normally see, and it is actually good. Like, I would recommend seeing it, but it's just batshit crazy.
Right.
And you find out how the sandpit becomes this conduit for, the link between Seoul. But
Okay.
it's very, very weird, but it's kind of, I came out and I was like, actually, that's good. It's interesting ideas. And also, I was kind of thinking...
Someone's tripping balls, man.
I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it with my, like, film degree kind of analysis, but it kind of felt like a analogy for kind of American invasion, because this American woman, this American kind of monster essentially goes into a foreign country, fucks it up, then says, "Oh, I'm here I'm on your side," and then the people there are like, "Oh yeah, okay, we like you," and then another foreign invasion comes in, and then the American one fights to get it out. And then it's like, yay, America. It's like you went in the first place and ruined their city. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
No.
But,
I was going to say, didn't she do it by accident? She didn't know she was a monster, right?
Yeah, but...
So I'm looking it up, and it's got 79% of Rotten Tomatoes.
I know you're all kind of sitting there like, I ain't going to watch this. But it's actually quite interesting. And, the personal relationship as well, in terms of, like, domestic abuse, it's interesting. So it's just...
How long is this film?
It's just over an hour and a half. It's under 2 hours. It's about hour 45 maybe.
Potential to watch.
It'd be a DVD film. Chris, I know you.
Chris is not on
It'll be a film that you would put on two other films at the same time, and also try and play Football Manager.
Yeah,
I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But no, I would recommend it. It's so difficult to explain.
How did you find out about it?
I just went to see it. I was on the View app, and I was like, what's coming up? What's showing at a time that I can see?
Next time you do that, let me know, because I've got a View ticket to use.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to go and see... that was the day that you lot were going to go and see King Arthur or something. A couple of weeks ago. I think, maybe. Anyway, I saw King Arthur, which I don't think any of you have.
No.
So I won't spoil it, because I know that you might want to go and see it.
I don't know the story of King
what's
Arthur.
your rating?
No,
Do you,
No,
Joe?
you do not.
He pulls the sword from the stone and becomes King of England.
Not on this one, mate.
King of the North.
Sorry, John.
So this is origins, quote unquote, story of King Arthur.
Right.
The naughty little cunt, because he's Guy Ritchie in it. Guy Ritchie directs it, and he's lock, stock, and two fucking smoking barrels. So it's a proper naughty little film. I'm surprised Danny Dyer wasn't in it. So
Is it true that David Beckham is in it?
David Beckham is in it. Yeah, he has a cameo, which is not the worst cameo of the week, which I will reveal in a sec. But so it starts with Eric Bana is Uther Pendragon, which is Arthur's dad.
Yeah.
And then he's been given Excalibur by Merlin. And then there's like mages and humans are living like, side by side. And then Uther's brother, Vortigern, who's played by Jude Law, he gets sent to live with the mages because they want someone to kind of, someone royalty to kind of, endear the mages to them a bit more.
Right.
Anyway, this is not a spoiler. Vortigern kind of gets a bit megalomaniac and then tries to kill Uther Pendragon. And then Uther finds this out and sends his baby son away to Londinium, aka London.
Right.
And then, anyway, so Arthur grows up in a brothel and doesn't know what his heritage is. And it's basically... then Arthur starts having these dreams about, like... because it's all quite magical. There's a lot of, huge elephants.
I was
and,
going to say, it looked like that in the trailer.
magic and sorcery and stuff, which is kind of was the worst part of it. But anyway, so then Excalibur becomes revealed again, and then everyone's trying to pull it out the stone, and then anyway, so then all the boys of a certain age get sent to the castle to try and pull it out, and then he ends up pulling it out, and then from there it's him against his uncle. So it was a good film.
So Uther dies.
Yeah, but that's not a spoiler because that's happens in the trailers. It's a good film. It's very Guy Ritchie stylized. So if you've ever seen any of his films, like the Sherlock Holmes films, Rock and Roller, Lock, Stock, Snatch, like it's the very kind of the way I describe it is like MTV kind of poppy. It'll be a slow mo to a really quick speed up and a very stylized, very like if you've seen Kick-Ass, Matthew Vaughn's film, like he was his producer as well, so they're very much influenced by one another, which I quite like that style of of directing. But for me, the worst part of it was the magical side of it. It just, I don't know, I just didn't think that the Legend of King Arthur would be as kind of magical as that, and it kind of, some of the parts of it, there's huge elephants, huge snakes, and it's like, I would rather just see a proper medieval battle,
right,
in the style of Game of Thrones or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was good.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Probably a 6 and a 6.
Just above average.
6 and a half.
So it was worse than Colossus.
Yes, I would say so.
Oh wow.
Okay. But then again, they're very hard to compare. But yeah, David Beckham has a cameo in it. I don't know what to say about it really. He was just in it.
I'm intrigued to know what your
Does that
favourite
say-
cameo is.
Does it actually say anything?
No,
Yeah, he's got quite a few lines
than
actually. So he's the guy who's basically facilitating all the boys trying to pull the sword out the stone, and then so Charlie Hunnam, he's from Sons of Anarchy. If any of you've seen that, he plays King Arthur, and it's very geezery. And then he comes up, he's like, "What am I doing then, Gov?" And then David Beckham's like, "Just fucking pull it." He doesn't say that, but he's like, "Pull it out the stone, mate." And then he's like, "Get your 10 digits, wrap it around the hilt, and give it a tug." And that's kind of a direct quote. So it's very, yeah.
Oh, Danny Diary.
Oi!
Yeah.
Naughty with a W. But yeah, the worst cameo of the week comes in Pirates of the Caribbean 5, which again I won't spoil, but it's utter dog shit. But Paul McCartney's in it. So the Beatle, right? So in one of the Pirates, Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones is Johnny Depp's dad.
Yeah.
Or Jack Sparrow's dad. Well, this is his uncle. And he says
I
this.
think it was his brother, wasn't it?
I thought it was
What?
his dad.
I thought it was his brother.
No,
Anyway,
it's
sorry,
his dad.
carry on.
Anyway, so Paul McCartney plays his uncle who's also in prison, and I was just like, just saw it and I was like, what is fuck is going on? He tells this joke about a skeleton, I don't know, but just
You Paul McCartney hated
I
you.
wonder who they're going to have for the next
For
one.
the next one.
Rod Stewart.
Rock and roll.
But anyway, so Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I think it's the last one that they're going to do. I've only seen the first and the second one. I didn't bother with 3 and 4.
3 and 4 shit.
Yeah.
This one was dog shit, man.
First one was the best one.
What made the first one good was the charm of Jack Sparrow, even though he's a drunkard. It was quite funny. It was a lot of it's action, it's good CGI. This just was a mess, man. They're trying to find the Trident of Poseidon.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is just Jack Sparrow. All he does is just go for about 2 hours, and then there's Kaya Scodelario and some other guy who's basically a mini Keira Knightley and a mini Orlando Bloom.
So they both were in it.
Well, they're basically the same.
Yeah, but were they both in it?
No.
Who?
Orlando Bloom and Keira
No.
Knightley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They were in it.
I knew they were going to be
Both
in
of
it.
them were in it.
only in cameos.
Yeah.
But so it's basically like a soft reboot of the first one,
Yeah.
and Barbosa's in it, and it just was not interesting.
Mm.
And there's a part in the beginning, which all I'll say about it is basically it's like a Pirates of the Caribbean version of Fast and Furious 5 when they're dragging the safe through Rio de Janeiro. So when you watch it, think if that makes sense.
Were the two jokesters in it, the ones who were skeleton people in the first and second one?
No,
Oh,
so
the
Mackenzie
guy who
Crook
got
was
Fox's eye
not in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No.
He wasn't there.
They tried to put a lot of comedy in it, but a lot of the comedy revolved around sexual innuendo, which was kind of a bit cheap. It wasn't that funny. So obviously Kaya Scodelario is in a corset for the whole entire thing, and then at one point she's trying to jump in the sea, and so she takes part of her dress off, and then the guy who's mini Orlando Bloom is like, "Oh, what are you doing? Stop!" And then Johnny Depp's like, "Oh, you could have seen loads more if you."
That was in the trailer.
And I was just like, "Oh, come on!" And it's basically all like that, all kind of. It's not quite the dick joke Seth Rogen thing, but it's pretty much halfway there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the CGI is good, the effects are good, but the story just really wasn't interesting.
Well, ever since the
That's
first
kind
one, every single film after that has become progressively worse.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, first 3 had some kind of link. I feel the third one was pushing it, and then the fourth one was just different.
I think they're trying to add too many things about the ocean.
Yeah,
and
They just
piracy.
retrofit so much.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, remember this happens in the second
Davy
one,"
Jones' locker,
and then
it's
but
like,
this
what?
this
Yeah.
tangentially links to it.
I think 3 would have been it But obviously Disney being Disney.
And plus Javier Bardem playing Salazar. So this, the kind of subtitle is Salazar's Revenge, but that's only in the UK, I think. I couldn't understand half the stuff he was saying. Like, it wasn't just because he's got a Spanish accent, it's because when they CGI his face, it just muffles it. Also, the fact that it's called Salazar's Revenge makes sense, but when the opening, just before the credits, there's like a prologue, and then at the end of the prologue, like, Salazar says, "Dead men tell no tales," and that's what the kind of worldwide subtitle is, so it makes more sense. And then Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge, and I was like, doesn't really work.
Yeah, but we always get stuff like that, and then they end up changing it anyway, don't they? Like,
why do they do that?
It's like Live Die Repeat. That was never its original name. What was its original name? It was
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow was a much better name.
Yeah.
Live Die Repeat does explain it, but
isn't there a second one of that coming out called Live Die Repeat?
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be shit. Edge of Tomorrow yesterday.
When was that?
That'd be better though.
Repeat?
Huh? They've changed it now. As soon as it came
on
out,
DVD.
it changed to Live Die Repeat.
Yeah.
There's been a few films
so
like that.
Avengers was Avengers Assemble here, but that's because there was a British TV show called Avengers.
Yeah.
Harry Potter with the Philosopher's Stone was the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
Don't know why they change it. Like, and I'm sure there's been.
And that's Philosopher's
also
Stone means something else.
A lot of the Fast and Furiouses tend to have different
names,
subtitles in other countries. So there's like, I think Fast 5 was Fast and Furious Rio Heist.
Yeah.
And what was this one? The Fate of the Furious, but ours was just Fast and Furious 8. I don't know why they change it, to be honest. You might as well just
no,
have
it's Fast 8, wasn't it? Or was it Fast 7? Oh, sorry. Fuck knows.
It was Fast 7. I know that.
7 Fast, 7 Furious.
There is a few films that they've done that too. I can't name another one.
It's just stupidness.
But out of the 3 recent releases, Colossal is by far the best, and Pirates is by far the worst.
Fair enough.
You have not enticed me
you haven't
to go
sold
see
me
any of them, so I'm kind of glad I didn't waste hours of my life going
Watch
to
Colossal, watch King Arthur, don't watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Again, honestly, I'm not going to watch any of them now.
I might watch King Arthur.
Watch King Arthur, so then we can.
We've got.
I want someone else to.
We got Baywatch tomorrow. We got Wonder Woman Thursday, mate. I've got enough.
House of Cards comes out
tomorrow. Yeah,
and
House of Cards
tomorrow.
Yes.
And no one cares about it, but Big Brother starts on Friday, so I'm gonna be watching that. I'll give you my updates on Big Brother weekly.
You really don't have
Dear
to.
I will.
7.
I will.
Orby is the only.
I'm gonna get catchy
person
on these pods as well.
Yeah, get catchy on. Get the twins on.
But yeah, and Defenders comes out soon, doesn't it, as well? And
August.
Spider-Man comes out soon as well.
July. So
I'm actually quite looking forward to the new Spider-Man film.
I think it's gonna
I still haven't
suck.
seen that second trailer yet.
No, I didn't. I
No.
purposely haven't watched it.
It looks quite good.
It looks quite good, yeah. It's just more it just enhances the fact that
It's just
social
not-
media is a key aspect of reality.
So you've watched a recent film, Boss Baby.
Oh yeah, I fell asleep. Yeah, no, it wasn't that good.
Okay, fair
It's
enough.
just like the idea that these babies obviously are not created the way that it is in real life, and there's like a machine that dictates whether they're a baby or they're a boss, and and then he goes undercover, and I have no reason. I didn't get far enough to figure out the reason why he became a boss baby in this family. So, but there is another one coming out, so it must have done quite well.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a Boss Baby 2.
Yeah, it got announced. So
Should be called Boss Toddler.
Boss Dudley, yeah.
Okay, so that's not a recommendation then from Chris.
well, I fall asleep
If
for a
you
lot of
fell
things, but yeah, that wasn't great.
Okay. Anyone got anything else they want to mention? Ollie, inspired by Alien Covenant?
So yeah, I did a full-on watching all of Alien, the quadrilogy.
The what?
Quadrilogy, so it's
4
4 movies. So Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and then Alien Resurrection, and then I went on to AVP.
Wow.
You didn't watch Prometheus?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there you
I
go.
skipped out. I think that's a lie. I think I must have. But yeah, my God, they just get much worse as they go on. So Alien was obviously
The best one.
it was, and
By
they had
far.
everything in it, and it was what 1979. So
It's
I mean, it's
45
just
almost 40 years old.
it's a really good movie. There's
Yeah.
it's the movie with the least number of casting, and yet it's actually the most like intense, and
Yeah.
they kind of continue the exact same story for the rest of them. Like, oh no, there's an alien on board. What are we gonna do? People
Yeah.
are not following the rules, being really stupid. Obi, mate, you would have hated number 2, and the third one, and the Resurrection as well.
Wow,
Because there's so many stupid things that people do. It's like, oh my god, you might as well just not be in this movie.
Yeah.
I think you would have slapped him. Like, no joke. There's in Aliens, so the second one, it's a military op, and they go to the planet where they first find the alien.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's a military op because they had a colony. They're trying to colonize this planet, like terraforming it, but the aliens got out and everyone's kind of been like consumed. So there's this one bit where they find out that actually the lawyer who is defending Ripley, because she survived the first alien attack, so she goes along as like a consultant. He's working against them all to capture the alien and sell it on as for army purposes.
Yeah.
And they find out that he tries to kill them, but they just let him loose. I would have shot his kneecaps or something. They had him in a chair, and they get surrounded by these aliens, and they just like, yep, he's done a runner, and he didn't do anything about it. Oh my god, it drove me up the wall.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, check out Alien. If you
What about AVP?
AVP, I liked AVP because that's the first proper Alien versus Predator.
No.
AVP 2 goes downhill. I'm gonna have to
that
rewatch
is
it.
crap.
But mate, Alien is just shit scary. It's the most terrifying extraterrestrial I think you can actually think.
What, Alien?
Yeah, man, they've got everything. So it's like you get this parasite attached to your face.
Yep.
It bleeds acid. It's jet black, so you can't see it anywhere really. And it crawls on walls. It's got petrifying.
Yeah, film students
Scary
love
stuff.
that because they write about it with feminist theory in terms of the fact that it's the fear of woman and motherhood and stuff, because it's like an inversion. Obviously a lot of the characters are men and they get kind of impregnated by this face hugger that kind of looks like a dirty vagina, and then obviously the alien bursts out of your chest, so it's like a birth scene. So it's very Freudian and yeah. So it's good anyway. I'm sure I've written a few essays about it. Chris is looking. Chris is shell shocked.
Fuck, yeah, whatever.
Some people find the weird stuff in weird stuff.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, well, quite case in point with Glenn, yeah.
Read some of my dissertations.
No. After the films you got me to watch in my lifetime, mate, I don't want to read any of your dissertations. Like what? I'm not naming any of the films that Antichrist, Serbian film.
Yep.
Human
Centipede.
1, 2, and 3.
I haven't seen the third one yet.
No, neither have I. I don't plan to. Either.
Hostel.
What's
Yes.
Hostel?
Hostel. You've never seen Hostel? That's the Eli Roth film where these backpackers go to
Is that the one?
Slovakia.
Is that the one where the guy gets pulled down the toilet?
Scene.
The blow. This woman gets her eye blow torched and it pops out and then.
Yeah, basically Glenn scarred me for life.
Peace.
We can get on YouTube.
I'm really alright.
But yeah.
Yeah, you are into some weird films. That's to be said.
There's people make them a weirder, surely.
All these terror films.
Yeah.
Off of weird films, but not off of it. I mean, just let's go off of that topic of weird films.
Right.
I was saying, we were talking about before, we're watching Riverdale. Yeah, I actually enjoying it a lot more now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is series 1 finished yet?
No.
It has finished.
That's it?
Yeah. But season's finished. It's only 13 episodes.
Oh.
But I haven't finished watching it yet.
I didn't think the last one was out. Look cool.
But apparently by the end they reveal who killed.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, who killed? What's his name again?
Jason.
Thank you, Jason. But,
I'm hardly watching that.
So there was I remember me and Chris talked about this a while ago, and Joe actually. There was a party, and one of the characters, Veronica, accused another character of incest, basically.
Oh wow.
And we were talking about this because the boy who died and his twin sister, they seemed to have a very weird relationship.
And she finally called her out on it.
Yeah. And so she kind of got a bit squirmy when she asked her about that. So I'm curious to watch on and see if there's actually.
Because basically she's been a bit. Basically, Veronica called out this other girl. I've forgotten her name.
Jess?
No.
Which girl?
The twin.
Blonde. The
ginger one.
What is her name?
Hannah Baker.
She called her out and she took over the cheerleaders or whatever. She did something in the cheerleader practice. So then she wanted to get her own back. So she came to this party and she's like basically their version of Truth or Dare. And they were just calling each other out.
It's not even Truth or Dare, just let me
Let me just call you.
Let me
your
wreck
shit.
Let me
Yeah.
tell other people your secrets, basically.
Yeah, and that happened, and then she said about the incest thing, and then someone
And a
punched
fight
someone
broke
out,
out,
and then that was it. Really.
You know, I always find it really sad when this fight breaks out. The person who throws the first punch, Jughead, he punches the guy, and he kind of like goes back a little bit, but not too much, and then he goes to punch him again. The guy stops him and just absolutely wallops Jughead, and he goes flying into some glass table and smashes it. And I'm always thinking like, I wish you could have at least knocked the guy down first. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It
makes you seem so weak.
it was realistic though,
Yeah,
because
of
the
course,
guy
yeah,
was
it was.
absolutely
That'd be
one.
me though. If I ever try and punch someone, it'll be like at the end of In Between Us 2 when Jay's about to punch his uncle and it just like bitch slaps him. That'd be me. That'd be me. And then I just get pummeled. Or like when Joe's fighting Frederick. Like,
Yeah, to be fair. Although I'm going to be using a gun, so watch yourself.
hey, this is Call of Duty, not
Listen,
not
mate,
real life fight.
Joe's gonna be like Deadpool. He's gonna just punch the guy, and his hands are just gonna break.
Yeah. Sorry, it will grow back.
Have you started watching 13 Reasons Why yet, Ollie?
I haven't. No, I'll be honest. I was looking for something to pick me up. So
Okay.
Not gonna watch that. No.
Well, Joe might have the antidote.
Yeah.
What's your from the archive, mate?
Oh, Shrek. I watched that the other day.
Nice.
Fucking wicked film. Such a sick film.
First one.
Yeah, of course the first one. With Farquaad. Lord Farquaad.
Do you know what? Someone said, I saw it on the internet, so it's obviously real, that
On the what?
Internet.
internet.
He's trying to be northern.
The internet.
Yeah.
That apparently Farquaad is like, if you say it really quickly, it sounds like fuckwad. Lord
Wow.
Farquaad.
Farquaad. Yeah.
Anyway, back to you.
Well, I mean that. But yeah, no, Shrek. It's a great film.
Why is it great?
Memories.
What memories does it
Nostalgia.
stir up?
I thought you were gonna say you were Shrek. Then I was like, what?
I am
All
Shrek.
Star Smash Mouth.
I am Shrek. I'm
Hey
like an
now.
onion. I've got layers.
Well, as it's one from the archives, why don't you just explain to us the film? Give us a little brief description of the film.
Right.
What
so
happens?
there's an ogre called Shrek,
Yeah.
and he lives on his swamp. Yeah.
Mm.
And basically, a load of mystical, magical, fairy tale creatures turn up at his swamp because they've been put there by Lord Fuckwad. So Shrek goes to Fuckwad's palace or kingdom and fights a load of soldiers. Fuckwad wants to get a wife, and he's chosen this little bitch called Fiona, who's in a tower guarded by a dragon.
Okay.
Shrek goes to the keep, picks up Fiona, takes Fiona back to Fuckwad. They're about to get married. Shrek says no. They kiss, Fiona and Shrek. Fiona turns into an ogre like Shrek. Happily ever after.
I think you might have missed out a point. The fact that he goes to get the princess is because
He wants to get his swamp back
Yeah.
from the mystical creatures, and Fuckwad
Mm.
says that he's going to chuck them out, basically.
But isn't it also that Fiona will turn into an ogre unless she kisses the love of her life?
Before
She,
a certain
she,
time.
Yeah.
she turns into an ogre every night, basically.
But isn't it that if she
Yeah,
kisses
she-
Fuckwad, she could never do that? She would just remain human.
Her curse is true love's first kiss will break the curse, and her curse is turning into an ogre every night. So she thinks by kissing Farquaad, she'll remain like a human being type thing.
It's controversial, mate. Poor Shrek would think, turning into a human.
But
is a
then-
curse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe
She
that is.
kisses Shrek, and she turns into an ogre.
So the curse
because
was
that-
turning into a human every morning.
Exactly.
Mm.
Twist.
What?
Reincarnation. Mate.
Bacon Media studies on that, mate.
So
Yeah, boy.
basically, Fiona's curse was basically she'll turn into an ogre unless she gets true love's kiss, which she'll remain a human.
Mhm.
But her true love's kiss was Shrek,
Mhm.
who's an ogre. So the curse is turning into a human every day.
Yeah.
I'm-
So she's an ogre that
as
turns
much
into a
as
human
as
rather
much
than
I'd
a
like
human
to
turns
believe
into an ogre.
that.
We dropped into
Haven't you,
this.
haven't you missed something of this film? Don't they do it after
Oh,
the
yeah,
allocated
gingerbread man.
time?
No.
Was she not so what?
I'm pretty
She's
sure
originally an ogre.
Before sunset. No, she
No.
was originally.
That's
she
definitely something we missed
originally
here.
human.
And definitely missed something here. We definitely missed something here.
We've broken Shrek.
Yeah.
Like what? What have we missed?
I don't know.
Gingerbread Man.
Yeah.
That was my favourite character. The Gingerbread Man.
Alright, cool, yeah.
So weird.
Good for you, mate.
Muffin Man.
So there's
A
endurance.
Muffin Man?
I walked past Drury
Muffin
Lane the
Man.
other day, and I was like, I know there's a nursery rhyme about this, but I couldn't remember who it was.
Did you see
Is
the
there not
Muffin
like a
Man?
famous?
I didn't
bakery?
because I couldn't remember who it was.
Was there a muffin shop
Don't know.
or a bakery at least?
There might well have been. There was. I think there's a Tesco
You
Express.
should
Oh,
you should have got a gingerbread man.
But how does? What do you think about the rest of the Shrek films? So I think it's like 4 or 5.
Oh,
It's
I
4,
don't
isn't
know.
there?
I watched the second one, and it was alright.
I thought the second one was quite good.
And they get progressively
But
worse.
Yeah.
I've never watched Shrek the third or
Shrek
the
Forever
fourth.
After.
Shrek
Yeah,
the
whatever
third,
it is.
what was that, the baby?
Yeah, I think so. And then isn't the 4th one Justin Timberlake?
Is that with the little kids, someone on Lancelot or whatever, and they find Merlin or Arthur?
Oh yeah.
I think so,
And
yeah.
then he's like, no, you're the real heir. And Shrek's trying to give him the duty,
Oh, right.
isn't he?
Alright.
Oh, okay, I think, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I've never watched the
Trying
fourth
to
one.
I was gonna do my Shrek voice, but it's not gonna be good. So
Go on,
I
do your
think-
Scottish accent.
no, I can't. I really can't.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that video on YouTube? The really messed up one with Shrek. Shrek is life.
Yeah. Shrek is life. Shrek is love.
No.
I'll show you after. You'll love it, Glenn. You'll love it.
Is it
Check
Sausage
out.
Party weird?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's worse. It's worse
It's
than
not. I
Sausage
don't know.
Party.
It's a different kind of weird.
It's
It's
worse.
a different kind of weird.
It's worse.
It
It's
just
worse.
keeps popping up.
Yeah, it's worse. Don't watch it.
Okay.
Glenn, you're gonna love it. I'm gonna put it on for you after.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
Obi, you've watched a film on, was it Netflix?
Oh no, it was on Netflix.
Amazon Prime,
No,
Hulu.
but I watched it. It's a documentary.
About.
It's called I'm Not Your Negro. It is about James Baldwin, who was an author of a book called, I think it's like something like Not Your House or something like that. I can't remember what the title was, but he wrote that in 1979, and it's basically about the civil rights movement and the assassination of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Medgar Evers, I think his name is, and his relationship that he had with the three of them, and how like they kind of differed in, like obviously they all stood for like pretty much the same thing, but how they kind of all differed in their methodology and their characters of how they wanted to achieve certain things. And it was quite interesting. I'll say it again yesterday. It's about an hour and a half long. The last half hour is, I would say, more interesting than the first hour, but the whole thing as a whole is quite powerful. And so like they're talking about how black people were perceived in America, and they kind of compare it to how black people were perceived in like sort of like media and film. So like trying to think of an example. So they were talking about how the like white people would try to make black people kind of like seems like sort of like not impotent, but like obviously like less significant, like less than, and they would compare that to, for example, a film where a black janitor finds a white girl who's been murdered on his grounds, and he calls the police, but as soon as the police come, he like starts breaking down and crying because obviously it wasn't him, so he's like saying that it wasn't me, and he's like crying and stuff like that, and then they throw him in jail anyway and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's pretty good, like it's
Pretty
quite
deep.
Yeah, it's quite deep. Yeah, it's quite informative, and this guy is kind of like James Baldwin. He's just kind of like giving his view on the whole thing because he's like a scholar, and it like shows clips of him talking to people in like London, people in America at like seminars and stuff like that, and things like that. And like the last like 5 minutes, it's quite kind of hard to watch because obviously he's talking about how it's hard for black people to kind of like overcome this sort of thing because of how long it's been going on, and then kind of whilst he's talking about it, they kind of voice it over images of people being hung, and it was like, so I was like, oh fucking hell, that's quite hard to watch because like yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. I'd recommend watching it.
Why is it called I'm Not Your Negro?
I am not sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Not sure.
Is it kind of about like the fact that it's not like black people are possessed by
I was going to say,
white people? Is that I am not your...
Yeah, I think probably kind of. I think because they kind of showed it with. He did an interview with a man, and they were on TV, and he kept saying the word Negro, and every time he James Baldwin gave him like a response, he would say like instead of saying Negro, he would say the black man. So I think he was kind of like trying to say give him like sort of like I'm not your. Like to you, I'm not a Negro sort of thing.
So the white man was saying...
Man. Yeah, the black man, yeah.
Okay.
This is like the 60s where everyone, pretty much everybody was saying it. So, yeah, it was interesting. And then there was a bit where there was a scholar, quite an old man, I think this was in like the 60s or the 70s, and he was talking about how we need to stop distinguishing, basically they need to stop making such a big deal about race, and saying like he would have more in common with a black man who is a scholar than a white man who's uneducated, blah blah blah. And James Baldwin was like rebutting it, was saying, well, it'll stop being an issue when guys have stopped making it an issue, because saying how hard it is to get into good schools and to get good jobs and to own land and stuff like that, and saying once these obstacles are overcome, then we'll be able to stop making such a big deal out of race and stuff like that.
And what's your opinion on films in terms of that as well? Because it's always like, obviously there was the Oscars So White controversy, and then the last year's Oscars where there was a lot more minorities being kind of accepted and like nominated. But now I guess even with like the Black Panther film that's coming out, the Marvel one, like there's been a lot made of that, how, you know, almost all the cast are black, the director I think is black and the writer is black, same with Jordan Peele's Get Out. It's all like celebrating the fact that this is kind of mostly produced by a black kind of cast and production team. What do you think that there's going to get to a point where, like, I guess there's an ideal world where it doesn't matter what the colour of the people who are making it, or do you think that it's important now that we keep pushing these or shedding light on these productions?
I think to a point, yeah, it is important that you shed light on issues, stuff like this, because it's still quite relevant today, I think. And it is important to obviously have like minority directors doing like mainstream or big budget films, because it shows like more like equal opportunity. But it shouldn't get to the point where you're just appointing someone, a minority or whoever, who's to be a director just because they're a minority. So obviously it should be at some point based on merit, and then at some point based on diversity.
Yeah. I think there are a couple of franchises that are kind of really pushing that as well, like Fast and Furious. As much as it's just like a wishy-washy film, but like the cast is very diverse. The directors have been like Justin Lin, F. Gary Gray, and James Wan. So like 2 Asian directors and 1, you know, African American director. So those sorts of franchises are really good for that, and that's kind of making it mainstream, isn't it? So hopefully we'll get to a point. But I'm actually really looking forward to films like Black Panther and even Wonder Woman. I think is quite a landmark film. You know, I think it's written, directed, you know, very female focused film. So,
well, it'd have to be, wouldn't it?
Why?
Well, it could have been directed by a bloke.
But that's the point. I think the case in point right here that we're just discussing, really, isn't it? It doesn't have to be, but they're choosing to do it.
Actually, I've got a question. So there's been a lot of controversy. There's an American cinema chain who decided to show female-only screenings for Wonder Woman.
Oh, I heard about that.
And then obviously there was a lot of backlash against that. All the men were like, well, "Where's my male-only screening of Spider-Man
It's the
or
same-
Baywatch or whatever they might want to watch?"
It's the same thing of when, you know, like International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And the only time people search International Wednesday is on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Saying they're like, oh, where's my International Wednesday?
Yeah.
So,
Or
just let them have the thing, man. Why people get like white men have had their day for the past fucking 1,000 fucking years, man. Let women have their one day. God, stop getting fucking aggy. It's like a fucking baby with a fucking toy. It's like once you don't want the toy, but as soon as someone else fucking has it, you want it. It's like, chill out, man.
yeah. What are your thoughts? Is it like too far, or can you understand why they've done it?
I don't really get why they've done it, but
What, female-only screening?
it doesn't really bother me why they've done it. It just, they can do it if they want. So
Yeah.
it's not going to affect
I mean,
me
it's
in
their
any way,
choice to
shape
do
or
it.
form.
It doesn't make sense why they've done it, but they can do it.
Yeah.
I think it's just like
It's fucking stupid.
trying to make men trying to make out of the fact that they're so kind of discriminated against.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, to be fair, most of the I reckon a lot of the audience for that will be female anyway, because Wonder Woman's been a kind of female icon for ages.
Yeah.
And even like 50 Shades of Grey, you know,
that was predominantly women that went
exactly
to see the film.
Exactly, but you know, it's only when you kind of explicitly say, "Oh, this is going to be mostly for women," and people be like, "What the hell?" Like,
but you didn't say
Did
it was
we
mostly
all
for
see
women,
that
did
film?
you? You said
No.
it's only women.
no, but I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I know it doesn't bother me either, but I think that's what people are getting at, aren't they? Really?
I
Yeah.
don't think it matters.
No, it
No.
doesn't at all.
No, but that's our point of view, isn't it?
Yes. Just our average critical
Critics.
point of view.
Yeah.
Okay, what else have we got to cover off?
Well, I'll jump on the superhero bandwagon
Oh, yeah.
because we've been doing a lot of that.
Because Ollie loves
So
superheroes now.
I've proper nerded out, and I'm on you guys'
I
level.
feel like we've moulded you.
No. It's been
a journey.
I like superhero movies. I don't like Marvel movies.
Wow.
That being said, I
Right.
do like Spider-Man just because I feel that that's like a really funny
And you
story.
have seen 10 of the 15 MCU films.
I know, not by choice, a lot of it. And I like Spider-Man, like all these villains. I think they're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Spider-Man villains
So
are
looking
pretty
forward
good.
to seeing Birdman in the new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not actually the new Spider-Man, because Iron Man's in it. So I've nerded out and I've gone on reading a graphic novel. So it's not a comic book,
Okay.
but I've watched The Watchmen
Oh, right.
because that's a classic superhero movie. But it's
Yeah.
not like superheroes, except for Dr. Manhattan, who is
Um,
he's some like I don't
Over
know.
the top.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know what he is. He's a god, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of.
So it's just following the story of vigilantes, or who were once vigilantes, but they've been outlawed. And this is back to, so they were outlawed in like the 60s and around the Nixon era. But you follow in pretty much Rorschach, who is one of the vigilantes, and there appears to be a killing of the old school vigilantes, and he's trying to find out what the hell's going on. Like someone is killing masked or once masked heroes. So he gets like his band of who were Watchmen together, and they figure out that there is this bigger plot. And I was reading the novel and then I watched the film, and it's literally exactly screen for screen. It's amazing. There are a couple of things that they skipped out, but because there's so much dialogue in a novel as opposed, but it's almost like line for line as well. It's really good, really, really.
And is that a positive thing? The fact that the frame
stuff
of the
with
film is similar to the frame.
I
of the
loved
comic
it, yeah,
book?
definitely.
Okay.
I think, it really shows the talent of these guys who actually made this novel, how it can still work out as an extremely good film.
Yeah.
So I know there's quite a lot of these. So V for Vendetta is also a graphic novel as well. So I want to read that, see how much that's alike.
But what's the film like then? Is it a good film? Because I think
For
I've
Watchmen?
seen it. I think I've seen it
I think
2
it's
or
a really
3
good- I
times,
think it's really
and I
good.
think maybe I just not been watching it at the right time or frame of mind. But I just can't. I think I just found it so confusing.
It's very long.
It's a long film, and it's a dark superhero movie, and it's not really like superheroes like who are jumping from building to building.
No.
It's like just fighting criminals pretty much, and that's what I liked, because it's just like normal people being vigilantes. So that's what's really really thrilling about it, because there's like the prison scene. They break into a prison, and Rorschach's just this guy, but he ends up throwing like a deep fryer over. You know the scene I'm talking about, right?
No.
Where
So-
you find a deep
So
fry.
Rorschach has got loads of guys into prison, but he, as a vigilante, he's been outlawed, so he gets caught, put in prison. So he's like gonna get fucked up. So this guy tries to shiv him, but instead he gets like where you deep fry your fries. He gets that and swings over the guy, and the guy's like covered in burnt oil, and oh man, that's grim, but fucking.
That kind of reminds it's a bit different, but I the other day watched a film called All Superheroes Must Die, and it's like it's quite an old film. I'd never heard of it before, but it was just on Computer Exchange website, and I was like, I'll buy it. It's basically about, I think it's a group of 4 people, and they are superheroes, and they've been captured by their villain, and they've got to do this kind of game. It's like kind of test to get out of it, and it seems like everything they do he will inevitably. So like he'll have people captured. There'll be bombs detonated against them. And they've got like a minute to get there, and then even if they get there, the guy will still detonate the bomb. And like you find out later in the film that like 3 of the characters do have superpowers and one of them doesn't, and he's just tried to keep up with them all this time because he's in love with one of them, and then eventually all of them, but 2 of them die. And yeah, it was a pretty interesting thing. But I found there was a second one because it wasn't very well received. But there's a second one on YouTube.
Okay.
And the main character is the director, and I don't know what happened to him, but he has an eye patch in real life.
Oh, right.
And so in the film, he's got his mask, his suit is like half broken, so like his eye that's covered you don't see, but his actual eye you do. It's quite an interesting film. But
Fair.
yeah, it's kind of like Watchmen-esque, but not as good.
Like it.
So you actually like a Zack Snyder film?
Yeah, that one's decent. Yeah,
Okay.
Watchmen's decent. Yeah. But mate, the thing is, like, obviously he's not doing the rest of Justice League anymore, which is very sad, unfortunate.
Condolences to Zack Snyder and his family.
Exactly. But the thing with this kind of thing is that like it's like what you're saying, like how they replicate from a graphic novel to a film should be near identical. And what he's done is, I think, because they are based on novels, they're based on comics, and the comics gets smashed into a graphic novel kind of thing. But it's not replicating it. It's taking bits of it that is believed to be good and then just smushing it together to create this. Is it an ensemble? Would you say no? A collective of different pieces.
So you're talking about comic book films?
Yeah, well, yeah, because like at the moment you've got Batman vs Superman, which is quite an iconic moment in the comic world because it's 2 big, iconic characters going against each other, and I don't feel like he's taken it from a graphic novel. He's taken several different bits.
So you'd rather it be an act?
I'd rather it be replicated. From what I've read recently, I'd rather it just be replicated.
So like that they just like kind of stick truly to the comic book story.
But then I think the reason they don't do that is because there is quite a wide base behind it. But then I suppose Watchmen was quite well received, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then Watchmen's just a one-off graphic novel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, let's talk about the DC. So obviously Zack Snyder's dropped out of finishing post-production on Justice League, and Joss Whedon, who did Avengers, is finishing it off.
Yeah.
Then also the director of Justice League Dark has dropped out, so there's going to be a live-action one of them. So, and then also
Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Constantine, Zatanna, Deadman.
All the shitter versions of everyone.
Yeah. And then also there's been a lot of like Flash's dad has dropped out.
No, he's still in it.
The directors have left, and then I think there's even Aquaman started filming, and then Cyborg. I don't know what's happening with that. So it kind of feels like DC is in a bit of trouble.
The thing with DC, they've tried to catch up with Marvel too quickly because they left it so long.
No, yeah.
And it's just not working.
Yeah, because what films they've got at the moment? They've got 2 Superman films, one that's part Batman.
Yeah.
Kind of Wonder Woman as well. Then you got Wonder Woman coming out, so you got the 3 main people having their films essentially, and then you've got the Justice League, which is kind of similar to how Marvel did it, because they had Hulk, Captain America 4, and Iron Man. So
and Iron Man 2.
And Iron Man 2. So they had 5 films, but Iron Man 2, I mean, like.
But then the thing is, the Avengers is basically all of them, and then you've been introduced to Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Well, this is what they're.
But Justice League is the main people are also Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg, and none of them have really had any sort of introduction.
No.
I feel like.
Do you think as a whole DC characters are bigger than Marvel characters before you watch films?
I definitely would have heard of more of the DC ones, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
It is a catch up. You're right. It's a catch up game, and I feel like they are.
But Marvel have done wonders with characters that were jokes, like Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if they've ever been big before they were in the films.
They weren't massive comic books.
Even like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But I think what Marvel got right is Kevin Feige. So he's the producer. He overlooks all of it. I don't know what the same is with DC. I don't know if there is a one kind of central
Batman's
person.
DC, isn't it?
No, but I was in like
So can't we just stick with like Martin Scorsese's Batman. Don't no, wait, it's not Martin Scorsese.
Chris Nolan.
That's
Chris
the
Nolan.
one. Sorry. my
He
bad.
Yeah,
did-
they need a linchpin to
Just-
kind of oversee all of it and bring it all together.
But,
It doesn't feel like
they're
they've got
trying
that.
to do with the DC now is make it into a sort of cinematic universe, and
It's
Christopher
too
Bale's
many
not gonna
goodies.
do-
It's too many goodies.
Christian Bale's not going to do Batman anymore,
Yeah, I
so
know.
they'd need to reboot it anyway.
Nah, I don't know.
Well, they've already done it, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Just follow the villains. Did we talk about last week that Tom Hardy's going to be
Venom.
Venom?
Oh, yeah.
We
No,
did talk
no,
about it, didn't we?
Did we?
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Oh.
That's good casting, I think.
I think
Do
he'll
you?
do. I think he'll be a decent enough Venom.
I don't really know what the
Questionable.
character's like.
I
so
feel like-
I just
feel
want
like
to see
they
a
should have got an unknown.
villain-orientated
I
movie.
just want to see a good film.
Suicide Squad.
Apparently they're gonna
Good villain
That's
orientated.
it. They're gonna make their own. They're gonna make their own. So Venom is the start of their own Sony Marvel verse.
Okay.
Yeah.
But surely that's all going to focus on
So
villains.
Spider-Man
Who are
as
the...
well.
No, but Spider-Man's part of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Venom is not to do with Spider-Man.
No.
Venom
who's
is,
the-
if anything, a spin-off of the film we saw the other day, a few months ago.
Life.
Life.
What?
Life, at the end, the symbiotic takes hold of Jake Gyllenhaal, and
Project.
that is the end. He's in the spaceship on Earth, and he's covered in it, and these people are about to open his little space shuttle, right? And the rumor has it that that would be linking to Venom, because Venom is part of Sony, but it's a R-rated Sony, and it's part of the Sony Marvel universe rather than.
Then they should have had Jake Gyllenhaal as Venom.
Yeah, man, that would have been so jokes.
True, but then that was all.
So sad.
But the thing is, the Life Venom connection's just a rumor. So
Yeah, that's a bit
What
far
are-
fetched.
what are-
I don't
Have
think
you
it's,
seen
I don't
that?
think it's that
No.
far fetched.
Well,
It's definitely not.
I think you watch it and you might kind of understand.
Yeah,
It's especially
okay.
like the way that it like jizzes over Jake.
Yeah.
And then like
Love it.
And then but Venom from Spider-Man 3,
Yeah.
like how that's like
All
attached
the-
to
yeah,
Tony's wife.
this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the point. But I mean, the case could be that Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, and they use loads of sound and vibrate Venom off him, and it goes on to Tom Hardy or
I
something.
think you lot are looking too much into this.
Well, no,
one.
it's
Oh,
Sony.
it might
It's a Sony. It's a Sony / something production. What was it? We found out it was.
What, Life?
Yeah, it's Liongate,
Columbia.
isn't it? Huh?
Columbia.
Columbia and Sony, and so is Venom. So it's not too far fetched.
But I'm surprised they
Could
got
be.
Tom Hardy in it. I thought that's quite a strange.
Well, yeah.
Seeing as it was Bane.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
you discard that though, don't you? Now that whole Batman thing
Yeah.
gone. But
Yeah.
I just don't know. I thought they'd get someone unknown, but I suppose it's Sony's start to their own little universe.
Who's the hero going to be?
What,
I
in
don't think
Venom?
there is going to be a hero. Maybe it is just
There
Venom.
won't-
That would be
unless
decent.
they bring in Anti-Venom.
I doubt they
Anti-Venom.
won't do Anti-Venom yet, because
Antidote.
Carnage was first, then it was Anti-Venom.
Oh, talking
Yeah.
about that, right. So you know how much I love Lego Marvel superheroes
Yeah.
on Xbox. So I'm 90-something% into it. I've got all the characters apart from 2. Right, I think
Right.
it's 2. But yeah, it's so sick, mate. Like, oh
What
my god!
characters
And there's a
haven't you
second
got?
one coming out as well.
Mate, I feel like this is the third thing in this podcast where you said something and I'm like, what the hell is your point on this?
So Stan Lee's one, because I haven't.
Right. You need
So
to
one
play it.
of the things in each. So you know, like Lego games, is you do the mission and then you
Yeah.
unlock free play, and that means you can be any character and lots of characters with different
Yeah.
powers. And then one of the things running through it is you got to save Stan Lee because he's in peril. And so I haven't unlocked. Once you do all of those missions, then you get to unlock Stan Lee as a character.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so there's like, well, not all the Marvel characters, but there's loads. Some that I've never heard of, like Cyclops and something like that. And then so they've got Carnage and Venom and symbiotic Spider-Man and
Yeah.
different versions of Spider-Man from different
Yeah, yeah,
ages, and it's just so fun.
Yeah,
And
the
like,
Lego games are pretty good actually.
and then like you got to do Deadpool missions and you can unlock Deadpool, but also it's so self-referential because like
Yeah.
basically you have to go and do all these different missions with different characters to unlock them. And then the Deadpool one is like, oh yeah, you need to find my sword, but look at this helpful little trail of studs that will lead you right to it, and you know, and it's like, ooh, I've got to do
Proper
another
Deadpool
mission
risk.
because the creators have run out of ideas. But it's the fact that, you know, like, And I bought a couple of expansion packs for it as well.
Why would you want to get Stanley's character? That's literally just going to be he's a normal Lego figure. Isn't he?
No,
because
he gets all the powers of the characters that he created. So I think he's got like he can use Captain America's shield and things like that. And also I unlocked Aunt May, so I was like, what? She's like one of the last characters you can unlock.
What do you do with Aunt May?
She gets her purse and whacks people.
That's jokes.
It's just so fun, man. I love it. It's so much fun. But yeah, there's a second one of that coming out. And I'm gonna definitely buy that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sick. I'm trying to finish this 100% first though.
I'll get it and I'll beat you doing it 100%.
Go on then, I'm 94% for it.
Oh. Okay,
that's a challenge.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
No, but there is one part of this game that I really can't do. So one of them, you got to do some race missions, and there's one race mission where you got to be a radio controlled car, and like, it's because you only have a few seconds to get through each gate, and because the car is controlled by the joystick, and I can't do it. Like, I'm moving the joystick and it just fucking goes wherever you, and it's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I'm trying to find a cheat for it, but I can't do it. I'm gonna be on like 99.9%.
Yeah.
Tell us where you are next podcast.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll hopefully have most of the rest of the characters unlocked by then.
Talking of games, I ordered a Crash Bandicoot.
Oh.
What, the new one?
The new
one?
Or
the remastered?
It's got the remastered, all three of them.
Oh, mate, that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
What's the best console game that you've played?
Red Dead Redemption.
Really?
It is the best game I've ever played.
Why?
Just because of the story of it and the open world and the setting. Everything about the game is sick. Even the twist at the end.
That's delayed, by the way. The new one's delayed.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But isn't it basically Grand Theft Auto, but in like the Western time? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, but no.
Grand Theft Auto Unchained.
Kind of, but no. It's a really good game.
So it's better than GTA?
Yeah.
Because San Andreas is the bomb, man. Like, you can fly planes and...
You can do that in the new one. In the new GTA.
No, but isn't San Andreas the one where there's so many different islands and places that you can visit?
I can't remember.
I've never been a big GTA fan.
I never played San Andreas, but I believe that is the correct one.
The GTA franchise is a good franchise and good games, but for me, Red Dead Redemption was a complete game. For me, it's the best game I've ever played.
Alright.
Or maybe the Jack and Dexter franchise. They were good games.
Oops.
He just said he's not much of a gamer.
I'm not much of a gamer. Like, I play FIFA.
He plays NBA.
Nowadays, I play NBA, yeah, but like, I'm not good at them.
You're shit.
What's the one that you enjoy the most?
You're better at FIFA than I am, mate, so...
If you had to kind of,
No.
if you just had a couple of hours spare and you could choose any of your games, and even ones that you played before that...
What, like all in my entire life?
Yeah. So it could be like FIFA 05.
COD 4, mate, he loved it.
To be fair, PES 2005 was a sick football game.
2005 or 2006?
I played 2004, personally. But no, so I guess FIFA... Maybe FIFA 12. I really
that
enjoyed
was your heyday.
That was when I was.
That was your heyday.
I was Maldini on that thing. Like now I'm like fucking John Stones. So, but so yeah, maybe FIFA. But if on a non-sports related game, when I had a Dreamcast, I quite enjoyed playing Crazy Taxi.
Oh yeah.
And Sonic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of those two.
Sonic.
Yeah.
Decent.
Crazy Taxi. I'm gonna say Crazy Taxi. So I really enjoyed playing that.
And now you just prefer the fake version.
Wait, we're gonna get sponsored with them soon.
Ollie, you've got old school games.
I've got old school games, N64 all the way.
Is it Super Smash Bros?
Super Smash Bros and Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Great game. Great game.
Yeah, buddy.
Apparently the new Zelda game on the Switch.
What is it? What's it called? Wind something?
Wind of the Willows.
I don't care.
Winds of Winter.
But it's supposed to be a good game.
Winter's coming. Chris.
In recent times, probably Uncharted, because that's the one I always get.
Actually, sorry, just on a tangent, the guy who plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is being cast as
the
Nathan Drake.
Younger Nathan Drake, yeah.
Are they doing a Nathan Drake film?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But yeah, okay, so which Uncharted? The first one or the fourth one?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I've had 4 for about 4 months and I haven't played it, and I only just started playing it yesterday.
You need to finish that game.
Number 1's the best for me because it was the start of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that would be the best ever because I used to really love my Nintendo 64.
Yeah, any game.
The best
from any-
game.
I don't know, man. Rayman was my jam.
Oh
Rayman was a
yes.
great game.
Rayman
Yes.
and Banjo-Kazooie, them 2 games were my
Yeah,
jam.
Rayman is so
Banjo
difficult
Kazooie.
to finish. I still haven't
Yeah.
finished
I
it,
didn't
and it's been
finish
about
it.
23 years.
I need to get out.
If you haven't finished it now, man.
Thing is, I got so near the end, and then my sister, when she was like 3 or 4, unplugs the memory card.
Ah.
I never had a memory card.
Oh,
I would
mate.
fucking play these games and start again.
No.
But yeah, she corrupted all my memory, and
I remember me
And
and
you
my,
haven't forgiven her since.
because me and my dad used to play
she didn't survive.
it. Me and my dad
That
used to,
mysterious fire.
me and my dad used to play it, and we got so far, and then like I think you have when you lose something, you've only got so long to say yes to continue in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just took the phone call and he didn't say yes and it didn't save.
Oh.
I started again. I was
No.
like, devastation.
Do you remember when we used to play Skyrim?
Oh
When we
mate.
tried to do everything in that. That's
Do you know what's the thing that annoyed me about Skyrim? Yeah, we spent good hours, like days playing that game.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that I wanted to get on it so I could have everything. I couldn't because if you did something certain in the game earlier on, there's like a 50% chance it would glitch the game later on.
Yeah.
And it glitched the game and I couldn't get that one thing. Apparently, if you see like a horse dead somewhere, like on this certain part, if you see a dead horse, that means you can't get the part you want. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Guide. Remember the hours
that's
we
why
spent playing Minecraft?
That's what, yes, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Oh, he's rolling his eyes.
But it's alright, mate, because I got a remastered Skyrim.
Shocking game.
Did you?
There's
Yeah,
a new one.
something
There's a
like
new Elder Scrolls game coming out as well.
But
Is
if it's
there?
anything to do with the last one that came out, it was
What,
shocking.
a new one, not the
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online.
You gotta play some of the
Shit.
worst.
No, there's one coming out.
Oh my God.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh,
No, you
mate.
messed it up. That game.
Minecraft.
That fucking the one that Jurassic Park one, we had to fucking build your own theme park.
Oh, mate!
Rubbish
Jurassic
as
World
I'm
Operation! Bring it, Genesis.
I've watched you play some of the worst
Oh,
games I've
mate.
ever seen. in
That
my
was
life.
one of the best
What
games.
was that?
mate.
God.
That was it. The Digimon one that you bought
Oh,
as well.
fucking what a shit game.
Oh, yeah, that was fucking
What a shit
That was
game.
fucking shit.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, Theme Park World is decent.
Oh, shit, I never completed it, actually.
What, Digimon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you couldn't get past a certain point, you didn't know what to do.
No. I just you need to level up your Digimon, mate. I just couldn't bothered.
Fair enough.
But
Okay.
anyway, you need to complete Uncharted 4.
Well, this is the first time we've actually mentioned video games. I think.
We
So
should
Pop
do an
culture,
entire podcast on it.
We should.
1 week.
We should.
Considering one
Well,
of us
if you're going to
doesn't.
be here, mate.
Well, yeah, I will.
Oh yeah.
Fucking slide digs.
Oh,
Mate,
Rust.
that whatever his name, Von Tron or something, he's gonna get you. Yeah.
Frederick.
Anyway, listeners, let us know what your favourite video games of all time are. Tweet us YSC Podcast 17, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes at Your Average Critics. Do get involved, especially take a leaf out of Frederick's book. Try and insult someone here. That'd be all fun. We can.
Preferably not me, I'm taking my time.
You're
Or just
Deadwood.
make nice comments.
And yeah, do subscribe and comment and tell a friend to tell a friend. But before we wrap up, is there anything else that anyone wants to mention? Film, TV? No?
Yeah, we'll talk about House of Cards next week. I'm
We'll
really
talk.
excited.
Oh yes, I can.
I'll ask you a quick question before we leave, as we haven't had a question really.
Okay.
So,
Go for it.
if you could have a prequel to any series, bar Game of Thrones, what series would you have a prequel to?
Ooh, that is a good
Serious.
question.
That's a serious question.
Off the top of my head, I wouldn't mind seeing a prequel to 24, just so I can know what Jack Bauer was like before he became like this basically like psychopath serial killer.
Okay,
Cool.
that's an interesting one. God, that is a very, very.
We'll leave it for
Tough
now.
question.
We'll come back
Yeah.
to that question at the beginning of the next podcast.
Yeah.
We'll,
something
we'll
like
think about
Or
our answers for the next
I would
week.
love to see a Modern Family prequel because I would love to see Phil Dunphy in college because he is hilarious. So yeah, I'd like to see, but only if Ty Burrell played him. But it would really make sense. So
It'd be pretty funny though.
yeah.
That's a good question, man.
Yeah, it is.
Jeez,
we'll think of our answers for next week.
I can't even think. I literally can't think of
Yeah,
a single
neither can
TV
I.
show.
Neither can I.
I can't. TV does not exist.
What is TV?
I don't know.
Till next
Game of
time.
Thrones. I'm gonna write it down in our notepad.
Yeah. No, we'll
Anyway.
think of an answer for next week.
Yes. Well, tune in next week when we'll talk about Baywatch, Wonder Woman, and
House
Oh.
Cards.
House
Big
Cards,
Brother.
Big Brother.
Just you, mate.
Whether you like it or not,
Literally just you.
whether you like it or not, I mean, we're gonna talk about it.
And then what prequel TV series we'd like to see? So yeah, tune in next week and thanks for listening.
Ciao.